I'm Doug Brown. The Timberwolves go into tomorrow night's play-in game against the Lakers without Jaden McDaniels, who punched a wall on Sunday, and without Rudy Gobert, suspended by the team for punching teammate Kyle Anderson. ESPN's Tim McMahon.
There's no defense of this, and Rudy, admittedly, can be a difficult teammate, right? Yeah. Going back to the whole Donovan Mitchell-Gobert thing, like pre-COVID, there was tension there because Rudy, admittedly, like if Rudy's open for a lob, he doesn't get it, you're going to hear about it.
Tim McMahon on the Hoop Collective podcast. Pirates shortstop O'Neal Cruz will be out up to 4 months after getting hurt on a tag play at the plate on Sunday. He's already had surgery for a broken lower left leg and ligament damage in his left ankle. The WNBA draft tonight in New York City. The Indiana Fever hold the number 1 pick. It's projected to be South Carolina's Aaliyah Boston. Draft coverage starts at 7 Eastern on ESPN. And the WNBA announces today, starting this season, teams will be allowed to take charter flights for back-to-back games and all postseason games.
Coming up Tuesday, he's in my top 10. Jada joins to talk coffee, and maybe we're going to ask him about music too. Keyshawn, J. Will and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
So. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. Hope you and yours had an awesome Easter weekend. We took the day off Friday. If you had to work, hope you made the most of it. If you had time off, hope you made the most of that as well. But it's good to be back, and obviously with so much going on, good to be in the chair. We will get to Pels. Their postseason path is now set forward. Jaylen Cook is transferring back to LSU. He'll be with us in 90 minutes from right now. And the Saints are hosting an SEC running back that I find very interesting. I want to talk about that a bit later in the show as well. Baseball Tigers they split the weekend in Columbia, South Carolina. We knew on Thursday rain was going to be an issue there in Columbia all weekend and that they'd be dodging showers. They got game 1 in on Thursday. They moved game 2 up on Friday. They beat the weather. And as you know, ultimately game 3 was canceled. So just a 2-game weekend. It will not be made up. A lot of people are asking. The SEC made that rule to where now you have 3 days to play 3 games. So even though Sunday was available, they were not going to play a game on Sunday, and the game will not be made up. So LSU and South Carolina this year will play a max of 29 league games. That could come into play if you're talking about tiebreakers at the end of the season. If, for example, let's say Vanderbilt finishes 22-8 and LSU's 21-8, well, Vanderbilt's going to win the SEC. So that's how it could potentially affect LSU, but you cross that bridge when you get there, if in fact it matters, which let's hope it doesn't. But after losing game 1 13-5, we weren't, and it feels like forever ago now, but we weren't here on Friday, so we didn't get the chance to talk about it. But you lose game 1 13-5, and then you need the dramatic comeback in game 2, coming back twice from down 4 runs. I think, judging by my Twitter mentions, the text line, a lot of feedback from LSU fans, there was I don't want to call it a full-on panic, but a lot of nervousness. And I often say sometimes it's hard to see the forest through the trees, and this is sort of representative of that. Today, all of the national polls, released their updated top 25. So keep in mind, LSU split a weekend, 1-1. They lost game 1 13-5. They won game 2 8-7. Couple of dramatic comebacks, as we mentioned. Baseball America has LSU number 1 in the country. and their updated top 25. If we scroll and look at D1 baseball, at LSU, number 1 in the country. Perfect Game top 25 has Your Fighting Tigers of LSU ranked number 1 in the country. And Collegiate Baseball Magazine also has LSU number 1 in the country. You know, sometimes because we pay such close attention to the team that we love or we follow, we cheer for, we see the warts and the blemishes. And sometimes we see them more dramatically than others do. And because we don't follow other teams as closely, we tend to ignore or not see or be aware of their warts and blemishes, though they exist. That is not to say that LSU is without fault or flaw. They've got plenty of them, which we're going to talk about here, and some are concerning. But sometimes it helps to look, to pull back to the 10,000-foot view, take a viewpoint of the entire landscape to acknowledge where you are and where LSU is still in a very good place. You are 26-5 overall, and you're looking at a weekend with Kentucky coming in after Kentucky just dropped a weekend series to lowly Georgia, lost a pair of 7-inning games on Easter Sunday. And after the Kentucky series, things lighten up considerably for LSU. You have played numbers 11, 6, 11, and 6. Texas A&M was ranked 11th. Arkansas was ranked 6th. You played 11th ranked Tennessee, and then you were at 6th ranked South Carolina this week. So you haven't played a team ranked lower than 11th. In perspective, it does matter. A couple thoughts just really quickly on the games themselves. I think game 1 was a very clear illustration of how important Paul Skeens is to you. And when Paul Skeens doesn't go eat up 7 innings on a weekend, what it does to your staff and your bullpen. Skeens gave you 3 innings. 8 of the 9 outs he recorded were via the strikeout. You're down 3-1. The Lightning came. It was the worst case scenario. We talked about it all week last week. The worst case scenario would be starting the game, burning Skeens without getting a full outing, and having to piece it together the rest of the weekend. And that's exactly what unfolded. I know there were a lot of people who accused Jay Johnson of throwing the game or whatnot. That's absolutely foolish. You don't go all in to win a game. You try to win a weekend. You try to piece together a great regular season to ultimately win a championship, and you don't sacrifice those things for a game. That's the great thing about baseball is you live to play the next day. I could certainly entertain the question of why did you go to Micah Bucknam when you did. The one question that I had is Sam Dutton came out and pitched the 4th after the delay, threw up a 0, and then you went to Bucknam. Jay said afterwards that he likes Dutton in 1-inning spurts instead of letting him extend. He knows his team better than I do. There were other options you could have gone to. They didn't. It was a 3-1 ball game, went to Bucknam. Bucknam gave up a 5 spot. It was over. Okay. You play for the next day. And you won the next day. Game 2, Ty Floyd is a concern. I mean, that is fair. That is obvious. No one is going to run from that conversation at this point. This is back-to-back really concerning outings, and quite honestly, if you look at the Arkansas game, he had a really concerning start, but then steadied it a bit. But, you know, when you've got, obviously you've taken now Thatcher Hurd out of the weekend rotation, so you've lost your number 3 guy. Chase Shores, you had as your number 3 guy to start the season. He's injured right now. And now you're looking at Ty Floyd, who only gave you 3 innings and allowed 4 runs, and he walked 4 in 4 innings and hit 3 batters. I mean, he put 7 men on base. I mean, I'll state the very obvious. You can't do that and beat good teams. So you needed a dramatic comeback, and you got it. Major tip of the cap to the Gavins. Gavin Dugas with the grand slam to tie it. Gavin Guidry, who came in and slammed the door over the final inning in 2/3, and he was awesome. He faced 1 over the minimum, which was a walk he issued in the 9th, and he struck out 3. He was awesome. I mean, that's one of the guys that you look at and you say, okay, with some of the struggles that have emerged from guys you thought you'd count on, you're going to need other guys to step up and play a bigger role. And very clearly, Gavin Guidry is going to be one of those. Griffin Herring is going to be one of those. If you look at the concerns, and there are concerns, because we're not just talking about a team that we think can be good and can win games. We're talking about a team that we all expect to be in Omaha and be a legitimate national championship contender. Well, part of that expectation was Thatcher Hurd was going to be awesome, and Ty Floyd was going to be in your rotation, and Chase Shores was a big arm out of the bullpen, and Garrett Edwards had really come on, and all of those things are in question now. Will Thatcher Hurd regain his form? Don't know. Can Ty Floyd consistently throw strikes? Don't know. The stuff with those two guys is really good. But when you're walking people and hitting batters and consistently getting behind in counts and pitching out of the stretch, and you're in counts that are advantageous to hitters and they know you're going to throw the ball over the plate, it becomes easy to square you up. So can those guys develop consistently? Hope so. Wes Johnson, where are you at? This is on you right now. Get those guys right. I'm not saying he's not trying, but it's on him to do it right now. Chase Shores and Garrett Edwards, their injuries are a massive concern. Jay Johnson didn't really give any update on either guy, but when you're talking about guys that are big, strong-arm dudes that have arm issues and arm injuries, we all know what we think when we hear that. Let's hope it's not. I mean, I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to be careless or reckless with that, but I think we all know what the concern is with those guys. It's the same thing that happened with Grant Taylor, who you lost for the year. So, you hope you get those guys back at some point during the season and can regain form, but if you don't, other guys have to step up. We mentioned Guidry and Herring, two guys you're going to count on. But maybe the thing that you need right now is for guys who have been around to play a bigger role. Like Blake Money, it is time to play a role. I'm not saying you need to be the Friday night guy, but I need to be able to hand you the ball and you can get me 3 outs if I need it. Bryce Collins is a guy that you counted on in spots last year. You need him to be better than he's been this year. Say the same for Riley Cooper. Sam Dutton, who we saw pitch the fourth, as I mentioned, on Thursday in Game 1. These guys that have been here and have taken the ball in spots need to be able to get you outs and play their role on the team, however that's going to develop. And that's part of the ever-evolving part of a college baseball season. So Tigers go to South Carolina. Again, it's a top 10 team. You split a pair of games, and I could pose it to you two ways. One is, man, you got blown out in Game 1, and you were a dramatic rally away from getting swept on the road. The flip side of it, I could say, is you won Game 2, and South Carolina got super lucky in Game 1 that the best player in college baseball this year only went 3 innings because he was shoving it up there. T. Heine struck out 8 batters of the 9 outs he recorded. So, look, there's multiple ways you could spin it. Ultimately, you take the sample size that you have. LSU comes home this week to take on Kentucky for a 3-game series, another Thursday, Friday, Saturday series for LSU, and see what the results may be. All right, it's after further review. Got a lot to talk about with LSU baseball. Jay Johnson did meet with reporters earlier today. We'll get to that a bit later in the show. All right, it is after further review. Let me knock out our first break. We'll come back, and I want to talk a little Pels. They lost yesterday. We know they're play-in scenario, so we'll get to that. Let you hear from Willie Green, all that stuff. But you can always email us, tweet us. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. You can text us, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Man, yesterday, normally for Easter, our family's Easter tradition is we have a big crawfish boil. Well, it's kind of an odd year where a lot of family sort of dispersed. So my family, just me, Erica, Drew, went over to my parents' house. And my grandparents were there, aunt and uncle were there. And instead of breaking out the pots and having a big mess and doing the big crawfish boil ourselves, my dad went to Rouse's, the Rouse's Long Farm right there, Airline in Antioch, and picked up about 20 pounds of crawfish, some boiled shrimp as well, corn and potatoes. And we let Rouse's do the cooking for us this year. They can do the same for you. Go to Rouse's.com to find the location nearest you. There's about 60 Rouse's locations. Of course, every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they got all your boiled seafood, or your fried seafood as well, if you'd prefer those fried seafood platters. But man, they're crawfish. Live or boiled, they can take care of it for you. It's already price bagged and tagged. If you go to the hot and boiled kiosk at Rouse's, of course, they got all your beverages as well. You know what to do. Go to Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TD to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back.
Join us on Saturday, April 22nd
at the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown presented by Ochsner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com.
All right. Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
When you get to this point in the season, everything counts. 5-point game, 7 points off of free throw box outs. That's not Minnesota, that's us. That's us not doing our jobs every single time down the floor. And we fought, we played, a solid game, but we didn't do enough down the stretch, and that's where we got to be better.
What a massively disappointing Easter Sunday it was for the New Orleans Pelicans. They went into the day with a chance to emerge as high as the 5 seed in the Western Conference playoffs. In the end, the worst-case scenario is what unfolded. The Pels end up the 9 seed in the play-in. They lose to Minnesota 113-108. Not a whole lot to talk about with this ball game. They started out great. Brandon Ingram in the first quarter outscored Minnesota himself. The Pels led at half, and then they just gagged it away in the second half. Credit Minnesota. They made plays in the fourth quarter, and as Willie Green said, cue play number 3, I mean, this was one that, quite honestly, they should have been able to get.
Just stay in an attack mode, and that's a playoff type game where it's going to come down to who can execute on both ends of the floor. I thought we fouled way too much, put them at the free throw line, just small things that we can correct, but this is a game that was gettable for us.
So the play-in tournament is now set for the second consecutive year. New Orleans will be in the play-in. And let me just sort of refresh for those that aren't familiar with how the play-in works. So the top 6 teams are in the playoffs. Basically, the play-in is for the 7th and 8th seeds. So number 7 and 8 will play. The winner is in as the 7th seed. The loser will play the winner of the 8-9 game. The winner of that game gets the 8th seed. That's what happened with New Orleans last year and ultimately drew Phoenix in the first round. So, as it is right now, the 7-8 game is Minnesota and the Lakers. So, and that game is going to be on Tuesday. The winner of that game between Minnesota and the Lakers is in. They're the 7 seed. On Wednesday, New Orleans is going to host Oklahoma City. The loser of that game, their season is over. The winner between New Orleans and OKC will play the loser of the Timberwolves-Lakers. The winner of that game gets the 8 seed. So, as you look at it right now, New Orleans is a 5-point favorite against OKC on Wednesday. The game's in the blender. New Orleans has had a really good home environment all season long, and it matters now. I mean, not that it didn't matter during the regular season, but now you're talking about the opportunity to get into the postseason for the second consecutive year. I don't think anyone is going to argue that New Orleans is in the postseason. The play-in is not the postseason. You've got to get into a best-of-7 series, which they're trying to do. So Wednesday, 8:30 Central in New Orleans. Pelicans, I don't know that it's sold out yet. They've got on their social media right now. The tickets are on sale. So if you want to be in that number, you can be. Pelicans are a 5-point home favorite against OKC. These teams did play 4 times in the regular season. New Orleans is 3-1 in those games. The one loss was at home. They won twice at OKC, once at home. That was the first time they played this year. It was 105-101. Then they won the 2 games on the road and lost the 4th game of the season, 110-96 at home. That was just a few weeks ago. So it comes down to this. You got to win a game at home against Oklahoma City on Wednesday or your season ends. If you win that one, you get a chance to take a swing at either L.A. or back in Minnesota and to play into to play into the field. And I vacillated a little bit here because it was about a month ago or so, maybe a little more than a month ago, and I remember the game. The Pelicans lost. They had this stretch coming up, the stretch that ended up going very well for New Orleans when they were playing a bunch of winnable games. They had the game against the Magic. They had a couple of games against Houston. They had the game against San Antonio. They went out west, played Portland. And they lost that home game to Orlando. And that was the point where I threw dirt on the season. And at the time said, look, maybe they get in the play-in, maybe they get into the postseason, however it may go. But ultimately, when you're going to be a contending type team, you got to win games like that at home against bad teams, and they didn't do it. And we all know what happened. New Orleans put together a nice run there down the stretch. And, I mean, after that loss, I'm looking for it here. After that loss to Orlando, they beat Portland. They lost the tough road games against Golden State, Sacramento. They were flip-flopping wins and losses, but then they went and won 5 in a row. They lost the game at Golden State. No great crime there. They beat Denver and the Clippers, lost the home game to Sacramento, and then beat Memphis and New York, who were resting guys, as we know they should. And you had everything set up for you on Sunday, and you lost in a situation where you desperately needed to get that win to make your road into the postseason easier, and they blew it. So Brandon Ingram had 42, no fault of his. Trey Murphy had 30, no fault of his. But man, I look at this team and I refuse to be duped again, man. Maybe they beat OKC. My guess is they're not going to win the next 2 games to get into the postseason. I certainly hope they do. If you do, you draw Denver as the 1 seed. Second consecutive year, you draw the 1 seed in a best of 7. And the Pels have had some success against Denver, but whenever this team has needed to play well, needed to be big in big moments, they haven't done it. And I don't know why I would believe that would start now. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful they prove me wrong, but I don't know that I can get there and believe that it's going to happen. The other part of this is the news that came out over the weekend about Zion, which I want to talk about here in a second. Let me take just a quick moment and remind you about Michelli Weighing and Measurement. Michelli.com. 29 offices across 11 different states. You know where to find them there at Michelli.com. If you weigh or measure something, say it all the time. They sell, service, rent the products that you use to weigh and measure. Go to the website, hit the services tab right there on the homepage, and you can see all the services that they offer. Everyone knows Michelli for scales, but they have ISO 17025 accreditation as well. They service measurement tools and equipment of all different makes and models. If it's precision instruments like lab balances or warehouse scales, industrial scales and equipment, Michelli's got you covered. And they've been doing it for 76 years, locally owned and operated out of their New Orleans office, but they've continued to expand, and they are hiring as well. So you can go to the careers tab at Michelli.com. It's Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. So my hand's in the air. I'm going to own it. I said over the past week to 10 days that I thought Zion would play before the regular season ended. And I was wrong. I thought they were going to get him on the floor, and they didn't. So I'll take that L. What's concerning for me is not just that Zion is out, but it's what David Griffin said over the weekend. And it was very reminiscent of the narrative and the dialogue back and forth with the Saints and Michael Thomas when he was injured. And earlier this year with the Pelicans and Brandon Ingram. And the thing that really concerned me the most is when David Griffin essentially said that it's no longer an injury, it's Zion's comfort level of when he can be himself. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't have the quote right in front of me, forgive me. And that's the problem. When the doctors say he's ready, there's nothing holding him back. And now it's just a comfort level. Do you trust yourself, your body physically to get out there and do it? Now you've got a little bit of a dispute with your superstar player and the front office or the medical staff. And that's not a great place to be. While we all sat here and, talked about Brandon Ingram's toe and why a toe was keeping him out that long and how he should have been back, but the toe kept him out. It feels very similar now as well. Here was the quote, by the way, from David Griffin. This was on the 7th. David Griffin said, quote, "It's really hard. We may never get to that point either," meaning about Zion playing this year. Because they wanted him, just to back up a little bit, what we talked about last week, if you weren't here, is that New Orleans was aiming to get Zion on the floor, either against the Knicks or Minnesota. And I believe that to be the case. They were really pushing to make that happen. But they wanted, and Andrew Lopez was on this show a week ago and said they want him to practice before he gets out there. And we circled that date Saturday. They were going to practice Saturday and play Sunday against Minnesota. So it would have made sense if he practiced Saturday and then played against Minnesota. And, of course, that's when David Griffin came out and said he's not going to play. He won't be available for a play-in. Best case would be the a round one best of 7 series. But Griffin said, quote, "It's really hard. We may never get to that point either. If it's not a situation where all those things align and he feels the way he needs to feel, then we're going to let him go to the next phase." So David Griffin very much put that on Zion. It's he needs to feel the way he needs to feel to be himself, and then we'll go to the next phase. The fact that David Griffin is willing to come out publicly and say that, to me, again, I'm reading between the lines. Because what we have gotten from the Pelicans all along on the Zion thing has been a lot of prepared statement, we'll evaluate in 2 weeks. Prepared statement, on to the next phase. Then we'll evaluate. That's what we've gotten all along. The fact that David Griffin had to come out and say essentially this, he's telling you it's no longer on us. It's only when he's ready and feels like himself again. When he's comfortable being explosive and being himself on the floor, then we'll go to the next phase. That, to me, reeks of frustration. And I'm not trying to contrive some controversy here. But I don't know what else to make of this. Because we have months worth of how the organization has handled this injury situation, and now it's different. And why is it different? Because they're telling you he's ready. It's really on him now when he feels good. And I can understand the frustration from the front office, from the team, from everything, and probably from Zion himself as well. But the fact that he's not out there right now is the first time when I'm looking at going, I'm legitimately concerned about this whole situation, because they think he should be ready, the doctors think he should be ready, and he's still not out there. And at this point, I don't know how you proceed. I mean, I don't think the Pels are winning a first-round series, so I don't think you see Zion. And now you get to the point where, how do you possibly get this guy healthy? I mean, it's got to be starting to look and plan for next year, and whatever you can do to prevent injury. That's got to be his whole offseason. It's preventative maintenance. How do you prevent him from injuring himself and being able to go through a season? Listen, we had these conversations earlier. Steph Curry had ankle injuries early in his career. He's made it. Joel Embiid missed the first 2 seasons of his career with foot injuries. He's probably going to win the MVP this year. You can do it. There's evidence of it, and there's also evidence of the contrary of guys who never get healthy. So what's Zion going to be? Looks like he's going to be entering an offseason that's going to be pivotal for him in his career and his ability to prove that he can do this for the New Orleans Pelicans. But Zion will not be available for the play-in, and I doubt even if they win the play-in that we'd see him at this point in a best of 7. Okay, it's after further review. Monday shows are brought to you by Relief Windows. Windows door siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. We'll knock out a quick break and go around the SEC. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Buying or selling, commercial or residential, you know what to do. Call Darren James and get your home sold. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com. That's agent225.com. I say it every single day. If you're thinking about selling your home, I don't know why you would call anyone other than the realtor that sells more homes than anyone. That's Darren James and his amazing team. You can always go to agent225.com. You can read all of the reviews there at agent225.com, the experiences that other people, buyers and sellers just like you and I, have had with Darren James. I've shared my personal experience. Darren sold our first home. Actually, he had it sold the first day. When the first day was listed, we had 3 showings and had an offer that went to closing the first day we listed our home. You need results, you need Darren James. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com for Darren James.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Gulf Coast Bank & Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank & Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TD to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCoRoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 360.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the Dreams Come True Radiothon. Dreams Come True is an organization designed to help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. The Dreams Come True Radiothon is presented today by the Baton Rouge Men's Clinic, Patient Plus, and Louisiana Federal Land Bank. You can donate today at 1045ESPN.com. Every $5 donation is an entry into the raffle. Great prizes in the raffle, including a Justin Jefferson autographed LSU helmet, 3 days, 2 nights at the CMA Festival in Nashville this summer as well. So dreams come true. Donate at 1045ESPN.com.
That's crazy, man. This is like a CMA award show, signed guitar. There's a Nola Brothers autograph package. Again, so every donation gets you every $5 donation gets you entered into the raffle. So not only you're benefiting great companies, but you also get entered into raffles for these great prizes. Yeah, the CMA Festival in Nashville this year. I'm reading this right here. You get it's an evening superstar concert series at Nissan Stadium, where the Titans play. So it's a daytime concert series with like 10 stages, 300 artists. So anyway, really cool, man. So if you can, get to 1045ESPN.com and make your donation to Dreams Come True Louisiana. You see it right there on the homepage at 1045ESPN.com. Adam Miller has hit the portal for the third time in his career. Of course, spent his freshman year at Illinois and then jumped into the portal, came to LSU, tore his ACL, we know, before his first season in Baton Rouge, entered the portal again, decided to stay at LSU, play a year under Matt McMahon, which he did, and now is in the portal yet again. So Adam Miller leaving LSU after 2 seasons and 1 year here under Matt McMahon. And if you missed it over the weekend as well, Jaylen Cook did in fact commit to LSU. The former Tiger, who spent the past couple of seasons at Tulane, is now coming back to LSU. And Jaylen Cook's with us at the bottom of hour 2. So a little less than an hour from right now, Jaylen Cook is on AFR. If you missed it, we had Jordan Wright with us last week. And I would submit to you that fifth-year Jordan Wright, who's spent 4 years in the SEC as a primary starter at Vanderbilt, and Jaylen Cook, who was Tulane's best player the last 2 years and is an all-conference player, now coming back to LSU as a fourth-year player. That's a better backcourt than any option you had last year. Juice Hill, Justice Williams, Adam Miller, you're just better. You're better with those two guys than with the guys you had. Miller is going to be a gigantic what-if at LSU. Because we've seen him be a great scorer and a great player, we just didn't see it consistently, and in large part because of the injury. He came in here a year ago, well, I guess 2 calendar years ago when he left Illinois and came to Baton Rouge, and he was supposed to be the replacement for Cam Thomas. He was supposed to be the instant offense. I mean, that was self-described by Will Wade. I mean, that's what Will Wade said said on the show, was the vision for Adam Miller. He was coming in, he was going to be the green light, instant offense, replace Cam Thomas. Well, tears his ACL, misses last season, comes back and never really regained that form. And it's not like you're just hoping. We saw it. His first collegiate game as a freshman at Illinois, he scored 28. In his first game ever at Illinois, scored 28. This year, 3 times in the pre-conference, he scored 23 or more. And some of those games where he didn't were games where he played fewer than 30 minutes because LSU was blowing teams out. So we've seen Adam Miller be that guy. We just didn't see it consistently. And maybe it was because of the injury, and you wish him well moving forward. But That's the 6th player now to enter the portal from LSU, and that quite honestly is what we talked about here when the season ended. Kind of ear to ground, that's what they were anticipating, turning over about 6 of those roster spots via the portal. Now, the onus is on Matt McMahon to go out and get new players in here. He's got Jordan Wright, got Jaylen Cook. You got a couple of freshmen coming in as well as part of the signing class that are already signed. Who else are you going to be able to go get out of the portal? You're going to need some size. You're going to need some rim protection. You're going to need some options down in the post. But work to do for Matt McMahon. And this is going to be a pretty pivotal year for him to see how he can build this roster coming off a very disappointing year one. All right, it is After Further Review, brought to you by Mold Zero USA. We'll go around the SEC in just a quick second. Mold Zero USA, by the way, a former LSU Tiger is now back in the SEC. We'll get to that here in a second. Mold-0USA.com. Rain all weekend. I mean, it rained Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you have rain, sometimes rain breeds mold. If you have mold, call Mold Zero. It's a better option than cutting sheetrock, pulling out carpet, leaving your home, staying in a hotel. Just call Mold Zero. They'll save you thousands of dollars and tons of time as well. It's a patented, non-toxic dry fog treatment. They'll come in, they'll spray their dry fog. Obviously, it's a fog. It'll get into every nook and cranny. It'll kill mold wherever it is in your home. And as soon as the fog dissipates, you can go back in your home free and clear. You don't have to take out furniture. You don't have to pull out carpet. None of it. It's Mold Zero USA. Mold-0USA.com. Mold-0USA.com. Okay, do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Excellence in imaging solutions. The Ole Miss Rebels.
Get the button, Muse. Ole Miss has landed its first commitment of the 2023 transfer portal season in Brandon Murray. Oh, it's low. It's on the same button. Former guard from Georgetown, of course, and LSU. Murray is ranked the 8th best transfer in the market for the country. 6'5", 225-pounder from Florida. Started his career at LSU, where he played started 32 of 33 games, averaged 10 points. This past year for Georgetown, played in all 27 games that he appeared in. In all 27 games he appeared in. Averaged nearly 14 points a game. Brandon Murray headed back to the SEC.
The Auburn Tigers.
FIU transfer Denver Jones, the nation's 25th best scorer a year ago, is transferring to Auburn. He's the first pickup for Bruce Pearl this offseason in the transfer market. His final 6 included Bama, LSU, Oklahoma, Florida State, DePaul, and, of course, Auburn. 6'4", Jones averaged 20.1 points per game for the Panthers this past season.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Bama men's basketball needs to fill 3 assistant coaching vacancies, and for one of them, they've dipped into Louisiana. Nicholls State head coach Austin Claunch is set to be hired by Nate Oates as one of his assistants on staff there in Tuscaloosa. Antoine Petway was the 3rd coach on Oates' bench to accept the head coaching gig when he left for Kennesaw State. Claunch is 33. He's from Houston. He's the youngest. He became the youngest head coach in Division I when he was hired back in 2018. Now he's headed to Tuscaloosa.
The Arkansas Razorbacks.
Arkansas has signed got a commitment from 4-star quarterback KJ Jackson. Not to be confused with KJ. Are we going to back-to-back KJs? Is that what's going to happen here with Arkansas? KJ Jefferson?
Looks like it.
KJ? I bet he's going to be a Heisman.
Could be.
How about that? KJ Jackson, the 16th best quarterback in the country, is a lefty. Chose the Hogs over North Carolina, Ole Miss, Kentucky, and others. He is the 5th commitment for Sam Pittman's class.
The Florida Gators.
Mississippi running back Kanan Daniels has committed to Florida, and Billy Napier. 2024 class now has 6 members. Daniels is 5'11", 190, the number 27 running back in the country. Had offers from Bama, Auburn, Louisville, Minnesota, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Oregon, Texas A&M, others. He's a 4-star recruit.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
And State has added to its 2024 football class 3-star athlete Caleb Dozier has committed to Zach Arnett's program. 6'3", 220-pounder. He's the number 128 athlete in the country. Offers from Houston, Central Florida, UAB, Coastal Carolina, so smaller schools. He's being recruited as both a linebacker and a tight end, although State sees him as a linebacker. He's the 3rd commit for 2024. Okay, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online, gcopnet.com, gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale. That's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. Ask about interactive whiteboards. I say that every day, but make sure we became very acquainted with these during COVID. And it allows video and network conferencing for employees and clients anywhere in the country, the world. And it's affordable, literally no matter the size of your business. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. Okay, y'all, glad to have you aboard with us here. Hope y'all had an awesome Easter. Let's knock out our final break of hour number one. We'll come back. SNL spoofed Angel Reese and the LSU women's basketball team over the weekend. Want to talk about that if you missed it. And in about 15 minutes from right now, the Saints are hosting an SEC running back for a private workout at the Metairie facility. Why I think this is a fascinating possibility for New Orleans. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes. We're glad you're here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Monday means all you can eat wings at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus, Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Look, let's just be painfully honest here. You're coming off an Easter weekend where you probably had people over to the house, you ate a ton, maybe you just got a big mess at the house and you don't feel like cooking tonight. I don't blame you. Go to Pluckers. Tonight and every Monday at Pluckers is all you can eat wings. So pay one low price and eat as many wings as you want all night long, every single Monday at Pluckers. Both Pluckers locations open till midnight or later every night of the week. So we're heading into the NBA postseason, okay? But it's important to remind you that Major League Baseball's regular season is just starting. And of course, Pluckers has every single MLB game all season long at both locations. So you got the Astros and the Pirates tonight. Because of all the weird TV blackout rules, if you can't watch the Astros but you want to watch that game, go to Pluckers. Dine-in, carry-out, or delivery, Pluckers, if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today. Or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back.
Join us on Saturday, April 22nd
at the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and Joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown presented by Ochsner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com. All right.
after further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
A Saturday did Erica's family's Easter. Watched the UFC 287 prelims that evening over there. Brother-in-law's house, outdoor kitchen, whole thing. Then took it to the house about 9 o'clock. And was sitting at home and got Drew ready for bed and everything. Flipped up, was kind of keeping up with the main card of UFC 287. And then flipped on Saturday Night Live, and they get to Weekend Update. And Colin Jost had a great zinger where he was talking about the First Lady going to the coronation of King Charles, and then said she's also invited the Iowa women's basketball team, which was a really good liner. Or the Iowa women's basketball team was going to be her +1. That was a good one. And then Michael Che on Weekend Update invited, just give a list. Shout out. The actress was Punky Johnson. Punky Johnson, for those that don't know, born in New Orleans and went to Nicholls State. So she's got a pretty deep tie here to Louisiana. So she did the Angel Reese spoof. Whether you thought the jokes landed or not is irrelevant. Just the fact that on the most popular sketch comedy show ever, one of the longest running, I think it might be the longest running TV show ever, has a woman in an LSU jersey on TV. Last week, Cody Worsham was with us here, and he's the chief brand ambassador, I believe, or chief brand officer for LSU. And we were talking about the impact that the national championship had on LSU's brand. And Cody kind of broke it down to like the earned reach and the created reach, right? So like what they're putting out and then what LSU has gotten from other sources. You literally cannot buy. There's so much confusion. Like I posted the video. A lot of LSU fans are like, oh, that's lame. No. You're missing the point. You're totally missing the point. It's a satirical show, so whether you thought the jokes landed or not, it's all a joke. The point is, you literally can't go to NBC and say, I'm going to pay you money to do a skit about LSU and have someone wear the jersey. You literally cannot buy that. And they gave it to you for free. There is no exposure you could possibly pay that's as valuable as getting something like that for free. That's how much the brand has grown in a week. So Angel Reese, Kim Mulkey, Alexis Morris will be drafted tonight in the WNBA draft, which starts at 6 o'clock Central. So just incredible to continue to see that brand grow as much as it has in just a week's time. Okay, it's after further review. When we come back, Saints hosting an SEC running back. Want to talk about whether it fits. That's next, AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. Was driving my Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport this weekend. Had a family member kind of look twice and go, yeah, man, that's nice. Better believe it is. You get it at South Point Volkswagen. The Cross Sport is fantastic. It's the Atlas. You just take out the third row. I had the Atlas, just always had that third row folded down, used it for storage space. Well, right now, just take out that third row. Still have the hatch back, as always, and all the great technology. Digital dash display, power everything, panoramic sunroof. You can test drive one today at South Point Volkswagen. Airline just north of Highland, or SouthPointVW.com. Remember also, 9 different IIHS top safety picks. My little niece is about to start driving. She's about to get her first car. She wants a Volkswagen. She's going to be driving probably the Tiguan. So if you're a parent about to have a teenage driver on your insurance, you want them safe in something stylish and affordable, SouthPointVW.com.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, with
what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
Is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski reports the Timberwolves suspend Rudy Gobert for tomorrow night's play-in game against the Lakers. Gobert punched teammate Kyle Anderson during a timeout on Sunday. Jaden McDaniels is out for the postseason with a broken right hand. ESPN's Chene Agwumike.
This guy was going to be the guy that guarded all the top players that the Timberwolves needed them to guard. Their best perimeter defender is now out because of another situation. So it wasn't just Rudy. It was a bigger domino effect of what's going on with the T-Wolves.
Chene Agwumike on Fitz and Harry. The Pirates lose shortstop O'Neal Cruz for up to 4 months for surgery for a broken lower left leg and ligament damage to his left ankle. Cruz got hurt Sunday against the White Sox. Baseball today, the White Sox beat the Twins 4-3. Hanser Alberto with a 3-run homer for Chicago. And we're still less than 2 weeks into the season, but so far, baseball's new rules are working. Batting average is up 16 points. The average 9-inning game is 31 minutes shorter than last year.
Coming up Tuesday, he's in my top 10. Jada joins to talk coffee, and maybe we're going to ask him about music, too. Keyshawn, J. Will and Max, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
Let's ride.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Musu. Nope. I screwed up. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Musso. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. Sorry, Paul. Sorry. Sorry, Paul. All right, we're glad you are as well. Get out there, make it a good one. I was typing something. And I just forgot. I just lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
You know, like you have habits, right?
Yeah.
And I
forgive you.
I didn't forget that you were there. I mean, obviously, I've been looking at you this whole time. You're sitting right there. You can put yourself on camera now, Paul, so people can see. See, I mean, you're sitting right there, right next to Musso. Man, y'all are a talkative bunch today. Really.
I'm sorry.
Hey, shut up. All right, you're talking too much. Both of you, shut up.
I'm working over here.
Yeah, my show. Shut up. Too much talking over there from you two. Okay, man. We got a lively bunch today. Muse and Paulie just on fire today, man. What'd y'all do for Easter? Are you still high from Easter?
No, dude, I'm still full from Easter, though. So much food. Like, food coma has extended into Monday afternoon.
Friendly banter.
I cannot
be allowed. It's a radio thing.
Cannot be allowed to do what I did yesterday in the kitchen.
You just stare at me. Both of you just staring at me. Like infants looking at their parents from the crib.
I was staring at the computer screen because I was typing something.
Got it. All right, let's talk about Devon Achane. I'm psyched. Seriously though, I'm sorry I forgot you, Paul. I didn't mean to. I got off. Nick Underhill reports that Devon Achane is scheduled to visit with the New Orleans Saints at the team's facility. If you are an LSU fan, how in the world could you forget Devon Achane? He and the Texas A&M Aggies obviously upset LSU this year in College Station when, they were staring down the barrel of 4-8. God, that would have been so good. Also, it would have been good for LSU not to blow that game. But Achane was obviously a big part of it. Dynamic runner. He is, considering what the Saints over the last 15 years have kind of targeted in their running backs, bigger, more physical backs, Achane at 5'8", 184 doesn't exactly fit the profile, but when you look at the skill set, blazing speed, by the way, 4.32 in the 40. 4.32 in the 40. Good runner, can catch the ball, can also return kicks and punts. Who does that remind you of? Remind you of another former Saints running back? Anybody? Paul, you're a Saints guy. Who would that remind you of? Undersized guy, really fast, catch, run, and special teams. Who would that remind you of? Who do you think?
I'll go with Darren Sproles.
Give that man a ding if you would, Muse. I'd appreciate the ding. I think he is a dead ringer for that role on this team. And Alvin Kamara, to an extent, obviously the size, not what Sproles was. He's bigger than Sproles. But Kamara's been that guy as well. Had 80-plus receptions each of his first 3 years in the league. Kamara is certainly a capable return man, although the Saints have found other roles, have used other guys in those roles as Kamara's role in the offense has increased. And is a guy that has surprisingly good ability between the tackles, despite the reputation. I would love it. I think it makes a ton of sense if you're able to get Achane. The other thing I'll remind you, and you might say, well, why would the Saints draft a running back when you've got Alvin Kamara under contract and you just signed Jamal Williams? Of course, Jamal Williams led the NFL in rushing touchdowns last year with 17 during the season in Detroit. I want to remind you, when you look at both of those players' contracts, actually, let's take a second and look at them together. Alvin Kamara's contract, if you take a closer look, the way that they've restructured his deal, there is an off-ramp for Kamara's contract after next season. So if you look at it, Kamara this year, the cap hit is $8.1 million. And next year, the dead cap hit, you can pull this up, Paulie, the dead cap hit is $16.7 million. So, essentially, if Kamara's on the roster next year, his cap hit would be $18.8 million. The dead cap hit is $16.7. So, basically, if Kamara's not on the roster, it counts $2 million less. But here's where the Saints built themselves a protection. If the Saints release Kamara pre-June 1 next year, his dead cap number is 16.7. They'd save $2.1 million against the cap. And if they designate him as a post-June 1 release or trade, the number drops all the way to $6.9 million. So you wouldn't get that money at the start of free agency, but it would come eventually. That's what we thought was going to happen with Michael Thomas this year, and then he ultimately agreed to a lesser contract to stay. Point is, the Saints have an out. If Kamara declines this year, and he's likely going to miss 6 games, that's just generally what's agreed upon, right? When you look at precedent in the NFL for personal conduct policy violations, the trial going on in Las Vegas, and Kamara will be, the trial date is set for when the Saints will be in camp next year. So we're sort of assuming and planning for Kamara to miss time this year, and then also the fact that the Saints have an off-ramp for his contract after this season tells you it could be, depending on what happens, Kamara's last season in New Orleans. They just signed Jamal Williams to this free agent contract. 2 years, $8.35 million deal with the New Orleans Saints. And whenever you look at the contract, 3 years, $12 million is the deal he signed with the Saints. And the Saints have an off-ramp after year 2 of this contract as well, where they'd essentially have about a $2 million dead cap number for Jamal Williams in 2025. So this could be Kamara's last year in New Orleans. Jamal Williams could be here for 2 years, and then you could get out of that deal. Point being, if you're the Saints, it's about time. If the right person is there to draft and have on a rookie contract, this transition to that player makes sense if the right player is there. Now, I like Javin Achane a lot. And if he's a second or third round guy, meaning he's a day 2 guy, fine by me if the Saints decide he's the one that they go after. My point is, with this running back draft class, however, I'm good. I am so good with any player at that position the Saints choose, except any player they might take at 29. Because there is not enough value. Let me rephrase this. I think there will be good players on the board at 29. If Jahmyr Gibbs from Alabama is on the board, you take him at 29, it's hard to be upset with that. And I wouldn't be upset with the player because I think he's a fantastic player. My problem would be there is so much depth at that position in this draft that you can get an equivalent player or a very good player at great value anywhere else in the draft. Like, let's just run through this real quickly. Like, here's the top running backs in the draft according to Pro Football Focus. Again, just one metric. Pro Football Focus is Bijan Robinson, number 1. They got Jahmyr Gibbs of Alabama as the 50th best player in the draft. So theoretically, you could get Jahmyr Gibbs in round 2, according to this. Zach Charbonnet from UCLA. They got Achane ranked as the 70th best player. Basically, he's a third-round guy. Dwayne McBride from UAB. Tank Bigsby from Auburn. He's a stud. They got him ranked as the 83rd best player. Kendre Miller from TCU. Tyjae Spears, they rank as the 8th best running back in this draft, the 96th overall player. You're talking about a late 3, early 4th-round grade on Tyjae Spears. Deuce Vaughn from Kansas State, Sean Tucker from Syracuse. That's not even talking about a guy like Chris Williams from Kentucky who led the SEC in rushing 2 seasons ago. If you look at the ESPN guys, Kiper, McShay, Reed, Kiper's top running backs, Robinson, Gibbs, McBride, Achane, Charbonnet. McShay ranks him Robinson, Gibbs, Charbonnet, Achane, Spears from Tulane 5th. Reed has him Robinson, Gibbs, Charbonnet, Achane, Bigsby from Auburn. You see the point? Like, there's not really a consensus, but you see Achane popping there a couple times. Miller has Roshan Johnson from Texas, the 4th best running back in this draft. My point is, the Saints are in a position where they could very well pull the trigger on a running back in this year's draft. There are so many elite level running backs and great talented running backs in this year's draft that at any point in this draft, if they decide to take a running back, I'm going to be good with it because I don't know how you could go wrong with any of the names I just rattled off. And if you get value at a position of need, and that's a player that can help you transition from Kamara with Williams, without however that's going to work, I'm good with it. I mean, effectively, we saw the Lions do the same thing in drafting Jamal Williams' replacement. And even though he led the NFL in rushing touchdowns, they didn't have to overpay for him in free agency because they had the next guy ready to go. So as much as I love Alvin Kamara, and I am not saying kick Alvin Kamara to the curb, I love Alvin Kamara. He's been an amazing New Orleans Saint, good locker room guy. He's been so much fun to watch. He's been the most consistent offensive weapon the Saints have had since they drafted him, obviously considering injuries to guys like Michael Thomas, etc. Man, I love Alvin Kamara, and I'm not saying be done with him. I'm just saying you have to start preparing for the inevitability of his decline and what's next. And this is a year where you're going to get great value on a potential awesome running back. I mean, like you did with Kamara when you took him in round 3 in 2017. So it's time to look for that guy this year. Okay. Jaylen Cook is going to join us in 17 minutes. A former LSU Tiger and Tiger yet again. Cook from Walker came to LSU, transferred to Tulane, played the last few seasons there. He's been all conference, been the best player on their team. Now he's coming back to LSU. So we'll talk to Jaylen Cook here in 17 minutes from right now. You won't want to miss it. Let me knock out a break. When we come back, though, a couple other things I want to touch on. Odell Beckham has his new spot in the NFL, and are the Carolina Panthers zeroing in on their choice for the number 1 overall pick? It appears so. We'll give you the latest when we come back. We're glad you're here. Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows.
AFR.
Spring is sprung, y'all. Easter in the rearview mirror. It is time to get in that garden. Clegg's Nursery has got everything you need to make your lawn and garden the best in the neighborhood. You want flowers? They got them. You want plants and trees and shrubs? Clegg's has got them as well, with shipments arriving darn near every day. The thing that is so important, look, you could go to a big box store, but remember, when you go to that big box store to buy flowers or whatever it may be, generally they're grown out of state and then shipped here. At Clegg's, everything is acclimated to South Louisiana because they were grown here, which means they're going to flourish, they're going to live longer, you get a better product, and you support a great local business that's been supporting our community for more than 60 years. If you need mulch or sod, by the bag or bulk, they got it. Anything you'd find at a True Value hardware store, you'll also find at Clegg's Nursery. So buy local and shop local and tell them Matt sent you in to Clegg's Nursery.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Odell Beckham's back in the league. Signed a one-year contract with the Baltimore Ravens for $15 million. I got asked over the weekend, or yesterday, I guess, if I thought if I was surprised that Odell got $15 million. And honestly, I guess my thought was, okay, what other receiver have I seen get a one-year kind of prove-it deal coming off of injury? And I thought about Jarvis last year in New Orleans. And Jarvis's deal was 1 year, $3 million. And when you look at their on-field production, they were comparable. Odell and Jarvis, up until this point in their career, obviously entered the NFL in the same time. Odell getting a 1 year, $15 million deal did catch me as a little surprising, and even the way it's structured. So they gave it to him as like a $13.835 million signing bonus. So his cap number is low. His base salary is $1.165, and this year's cap number is $3.9 million. So they spread the rest of that hit out over the next 4 years in like phantom years on the contract. So really it's like a 5-year deal. So the money will be spread out over 5 years, so they take a lesser hit. You can afford to do that. It's the cap gymnastics, which we've seen the Saints do for years and years and years now. And I guess when I compare Odell's contract to other receivers in the NFL, it actually kind of fits. Cortland Sutton gets $15.2 a year. Allen Robinson's making $15.5 a year. Hunter Renfrow, $16.1 a year. And when you start to look below those players, excuse me, I'm trying to look at the rest of the receiver contracts. It's actually pretty comparable when you look at the quality or caliber of player that's around that same dollar figure. There's a pretty significant, if you look at the average annual value, there's a pretty significant gap between the quality of the player. Like Tyreek Hill gets $30 million a year. All right. Devontae Adams, $28. DeAndre Hopkins, $27.2. Cooper Kupp, $26 million per year. A.J. Brown, $25. You see my point? Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin. And then you have all these guys in the $20 million range. Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Mike Williams, Brandon Cooks. And then you kind of start to see the drop-off where I mentioned Renfro's at 16.1, Allen Robinson's at 15.5. Odell at $15 million is followed then by Corey Davis, Michael Gallup, Curtis Samuel's at 11.5, Tim Patrick's at 11.3, Alan Lazard's at 11. You get my point? So, like, where do you value Odell? It's probably right. I mean, he's not in that upper tier that's making $20 million plus per year. And I would say Odell's more valuable than Valdez-Scantling or Russell Gage, who's making $10 million a year. Juju Smith-Schuster's making $8.5. Obviously on a rookie deal. Adam Thielen's making $8.3. So, 33 years old. So I guess it does make sense. The bigger thing for me right now with all this conversation is it probably means Lamar Jackson's going back to Baltimore. I know there was a screen grab of a FaceTime between the two of them, with that announcement. But I keep hearing this conversation about the NFL, or is the NFL colluding over Lamar Jackson? That's so hard for me to accept that. Because, and this is why. And I know all the arguments that are out there. But the one thing we know that is undeniable, like there is no argument against this. There's like not one single valid argument against this. Quarterback is the most important position in team sports, and teams will do damn near anything to get an elite quarterback. The Rams gave up 2 1s, a 3, and Jared Goff, who they took number 1 overall and traded up to get that pick for Matt Stafford. And you can say, well, they were a quarterback away from a championship, and it doesn't matter. How about Cleveland? Cleveland gave Deshaun Watson 5 years, $230 million guaranteed, and they weren't the only team in the sweepstakes. And that's with 24 complaints against him for inappropriate behavior in massage parlors. Like, he's a great quarterback. You forget everything else. Kansas City gave Patrick Mahomes $500 million. He's worth it, but it's still $500 million. What is Cincinnati about to give Joe Burrow? Do you understand my point? Like, if you have a great quarterback and you have an opportunity to obtain a great quarterback, look at what Denver gave up to get Russell Wilson in his mid-30s. If you have an opportunity to get a great quarterback, you give up whatever you need to do to get your great quarterback. If Baltimore believed in Lamar Jackson, they would have given him the break-the-bank contract. They don't believe in him. And if another team believed in Lamar Jackson, they would give him the break-the-bank contract. They don't. Now, I like Lamar Jackson a lot. Guy won an MVP, had a 15-win season. He's young. You could argue, well, with his style, is he durable? Are you willing to make that investment in a quarterback that might break down because he runs so much and takes hits? Maybe. And maybe that's it. But the collusion thing is so hard for me to buy because of all the evidence that we see of the NFL investing carelessly, flippantly into quarterbacks, even old quarterbacks like Stafford and Russell Wilson. So collusion to keep one guy down at almost any other position, okay. Like, did that happen to Eric Reed? Did Eric Reed get blackballed because of the Kaepernick stuff? I could believe that, absolutely. At quarterback? Like an elite level quarterback in his prime? And you're going to say, well, what about Kaepernick? I mean, Kaepernick wasn't an elite level quarterback in his prime at the point. Could he have still played? Sure. Teams didn't want to take the risk. That's a completely different conversation altogether. You have a starting caliber quarterback, elite starting caliber quarterback in the NFL, and teams are colluding to keep him out of it. Why? It just doesn't make sense. Okay, it's after further review. We're brought to you by the Williamson Eye Center. We got Jaylen Cook coming up here in about 5 minutes from right now. You want to see 2020? Call 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. WilliamsonEye.com. That's WilliamsonEye.com. Could not recommend highly enough that you make that phone call today to the Williamson Eye Center. Whatever your fear, whatever your reservation, whatever your hang-up, if it's you're scared of the laser, I was too. LASIK is the safest elective procedure in the history of mankind. Maybe you've always heard, LASIK wears off. No, it doesn't. Other parts of your eye continue to age, which could cause other problems, but your LASIK never wears off. Whatever your hang-up may be, can I afford it? Whatever. Go for that consultation. Do what I did. September is going to be 5 years for me since I've had LASIK with Dr. Blake Williamson. One of the best decisions I ever made in my life. You want to see 2020? You want to ditch the contacts and glasses forever? Go to the Williamson Eye Center. Call Dr. Blake Williamson today for that free consultation. 924-2020 or WilliamsonEye.com. Last week, Peter King kind of gave credence to Bryce Young being Carolina's pick at number 1. Chris Mortensen of ESPN reported the same thing last week. Today, Albert Breer of SI and Peter King both sort of adding fuel to that fire. Peter King wrote in Monday Morning Quarterback, quote, "The momentum toward Bryce Young is real." I'm not going to give away this person's name, but after the Combine, I spoke to someone who was at the NFL Combine and was, let's say, very close with C.J. Stroud's camp. And this person made it very clear to me that Stroud's camp, including C.J. Stroud's agent, effectively said that Bryce Young was going to be the number 1 pick. They were not expecting Carolina to take Young, C.J. Stroud won, that Bryce Young was going to be that pick. And ultimately what it seems to come down to is David Tepper, the Carolina Panthers owner, seems to favor Bryce Young, whereas Frank Reich seems to favor C.J. Stroud. Well, in this instance, who gets their way? It's probably the billionaire that owns the team. So I'm expecting at this point that Bryce Young is going to be the number one pick of the draft, as is being reported now more and more and more. And the reason this is relevant, obviously, is it's going to have an impact on the NFC South and New Orleans Saints, because that's going to be whoever Carolina drafts will be their franchise quarterback, presumably for the foreseeable future. But it's just another reminder as well, of course, of like who is your source when you get information. I have no doubt the people that were saying C.J. Stroud is going to be the number one pick had what they felt was good info. But if you're talking, for example, to Frank Reich, well, if Frank Reich loves C.J. Stroud, that's fantastic. And that could lead you to believe that the head coach of the Panthers loves that player, and that's the player they may go. But if he's not the ultimate decision maker, then you're talking to the wrong people. And more and more, it seems like it's pointing to Bryce Young being the number one overall pick. We'll see how this develops here over the next several weeks as we get closer to the NFL draft. April 27th, is that right? Day one of the draft, I believe, is Thursday, April 27th. Yeah, April 27th is first round of the NFL draft. So we're about a little more than 3 weeks away. Okay, it's after further review. Let me knock out a quick break. As we mentioned, Jaylen Cook from nearby Walker, who started his college career at LSU, transferred to Tulane, now transferring back to LSU. Jaylen Cook joins us next on AFR.
AFR.
Hey, look, we are seeing increased temps week by week. And I understand. Rain, a little bit of a cold snap, these past couple days. Got us down into the 50s, but the freezing temps are gone. The 100-degree temps are staring us straight in the face. Before those 100-degree temps arrive, make sure your home central AC is ready. Call River City's 1 Hour Air. Preseason AC tune-up. That's all you got to say. Heard Moscona talking about the preseason AC tune-up. You mentioned the show, they're going to knock $25 off the price, just for mentioning the show. They'll make sure that your AC is tuned up, clean, running efficient for the coming warm weather. It'll also extend the life of your unit. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. Mention the Moscona special. They'll always save you $25 off your repair or that preseason AC tune-up from River City's 1 Hour Air. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back.
Join us on Saturday, April 22nd.
At the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown, presented by Ochsner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com. All right.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
6 LSU basketball Tigers have hit the portal so far in this cycle, and Matt McMahon and his crew have gotten 2 commitments. Jordan Wright, a Baton Rouge native, Dunham, of course, and was at Vanderbilt the last 4 years. We chatted with Jordan last week. If you missed that interview, you can catch it on demand. And another local guy. Now, Jaylen Cook, who, of course, from Walker, started his career at LSU and after one season went to Tulane, where he was an all-conference player and, quite honestly, Tulane's best player the last 2 seasons. And he announced on social media he's heading back to LSU as he'll enter his 4th season of college ball. And Jaylen Cook's good enough to join us here for a few minutes. Hey, man, we appreciate the time. Congrats on your decision, man. How are you?
Thank you. Doing good. You?
Doing very well. I appreciate you for asking. Now, there is the caveat. You did announce you're coming back to LSU, but you're also going to go through the draft process. So if you would, let us into a little bit of the thought process behind going through the draft process and, like, making a co-announcement there.
I pulled out of the draft, so I'm not going to do it this year.
Okay. Why were you thinking about going into the draft?
I put up big numbers last year, so I thought I had a good shot at, potentially being drafted or picked up and getting good looks by teams.
Jalen, I want to talk a little bit about the decision, right? Because it's not often that you would see a player leave a school and then transfer back to that school, but that's what's happened here. So can we go back to your original decision when, after a year under Coach Will Wade, when you decided to transfer to Tulane, and why you made that decision then?
I had a great time playing for Coach Wade my freshman year. I decided to leave because I seen Coach Wade. Coach Wade was bringing in a lot of guys, so I just wanted to remove myself from that situation and just go in a different direction.
Well, the opportunity you had at Tulane was certainly a good one. Averaged 18 points a year ago as a sophomore, a hair under 20 points per game this past season. Quite honest, I mean, you're the best player on the team. So I would assume that as you look back at it, the decision you made, which gave you the opportunity to flourish there in New Orleans, was a good one. How do you look back at your time at Tulane?
I had a great time at Tulane. 2 great years. Coach Hunter and Tulane coaching staff, they were great to me. I love playing in New Orleans for the city of New Orleans, and it was a good experience. I'm very thankful for that time, for my time there.
So then, Jalen, the obvious question becomes, man, yet you were performing so well at Tulane. Why make the decision to leave Tulane for what I would presume would be your final collegiate season?
For my last year, well, hopefully my last year, I wanted to be at a bigger program, on a bigger stage. I proved myself, in the American Conference, getting first team both years, back-to-back years. So I thought it was time for a change and, time for me to head in a different direction.
Jaylen Cook is with us, former and current LSU Tiger Jaylen Cook. What was the conversation like with Matt McMahon? Can you kind of walk us through that process?
It was a great conversation. He expressed, his goals and, his vision for the LSU program. And I just automatically bought in. He's a good coach. Coached a lot of great guards too. So we automatically clicked and connected.
Did he? So last week we talked to Jordan Wright after his decision, and Jordan told me that like literally the day he was in the portal, Matt McMahon flew to Nashville the next day. So was it that quick for you as well? Like as soon as you went in the portal, how quickly did you hear from LSU?
Yeah, it was kind of the same. You know, as soon as I got in the portal, they you know, I connected with him. He actually flew. Well, I think he flew out to Tennessee to see Joe, and when he got back, he came see me and Nola. So, you know, the day I got in the portal. So I mean, it was automatic. It was automatic, you know, connection for sure. So,
but tell me about. So I saw when you went into the portal, I saw Jordan's tweet where he gave like the big googly eyes, like your tweet. Tell me a little bit about your relationship with Jordan. You guys are going to be teammates now, obviously.
Yes, sir. No, we go way back. We've been teammates, you know, since we've been little. You know, back in the day, playing biddy ball and AAU together. So we very familiar with each other's game, and you know, that's my bro. How do you all? So I mean, you're going to be in the same backcourt together. Stylistically, yes, you'll play the one, he'll play the two. How does that work? Yeah, I mean, we both can be on the ball. I can play off the ball. He can play on the ball. You know, I can play on the ball. He can play off. You know, we both got that to our game. So, I mean, you know, I probably will be at the one more, but you know, he'll be able to be on the ball too. So, I think it's gonna be great. Jaylen Cook's with us here. A couple more minutes. I want to ask about the opportunity to come home. How much of that was the pull, Jaylen, to play for your hometown school and to have this opportunity specifically? Because I'm going to assume you had a lot of other options in the portal. Yes, sir. It's LSU's ever since I was little. You know, LSU's been my dream school, my favorite school. So I mean, it wasn't a very hard decision for me to come back and put on for LSU, and you know, I think, you know, it's great for me to, you know, be back here and, you know, putting on for my state. I haven't left since, you know, I've been playing, so I think it's a great decision, and it was the best decision for me and my family. What other offers did you have? Like I said, I assume you had other offers in the portal. Who else showed interest? Kansas, Gonzaga, Ole Miss, TCU, Kansas State, you know, Auburn, Bama. I mean, it was a lot of schools. It was everybody. Did you consider anybody else? Yeah, I definitely considered, you know, other places, but I'd rather be nowhere else than, you know, LSU, Baton Rouge. You know, this is my hometown. It's home for me. So, are you just a couple more? Are you enrolled at Tulane for the spring semester, or are you already back at LSU? Like, no, you have to be enrolled, right? Because the season just wrapped up, of course. So you'll enroll at LSU in the summer? Yes, sir. Okay. And then one more. Will you need, since you've already transferred once, are you a graduate with immediate eligibility, or do you need a waiver? I'm going to need a waiver. Okay. And do you know anything about that process? Because I would assume, obviously, that you wouldn't have made this decision if you didn't think you'd get a waiver. But do you know anything about, like, the timing of that process, how that goes? No, I don't know too much about it, but I'm pretty positive I'm going to be able to play and get the waiver for sure. Man, I know a lot of LSU fans are going to be excited to see you back in the purple and gold after 2 great seasons down there in NOLA at Tulane. Jaylen Cook, of course, from Walker, spent a year at LSU, a couple years at Tulane, now back as a Tiger to finish out his college career. Man, we appreciate a couple of minutes, and we're looking forward to seeing you back in the purple and gold, man. Congrats. Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Our pleasure. That is Jaylen Cook, LSU Tiger Jaylen Cook. You don't see that often, man, where you have a guy who was at a school, left, and then returns. Sometimes you'll see, and this happens more often in football, I should say, where you have a guy who signs with a program, maybe doesn't make grades, goes the JUCO route, and then after JUCO comes back to the school that he originally signed with. That, while not altogether common, it's also not uncommon. Like you do see that. This is a little different, where you have a guy started a place, leave,
spend a couple of years somewhere else, and come back. But you heard Jaylen Cook say essentially the same thing Jordan Wright said last week, which was, I didn't want to play anywhere else. It's my hometown school. It's a school I grew up loving, cheering for. It's where I always wanted to be, and now he's going to have that opportunity. So, with Jalen, it wasn't hard to see what happened, man. I mean, he came here, and then he waited his turn for a year, and then, of course, Cam Thomas came in, and you saw the writing on the wall. So with Cam coming in, Jalen wasn't going to get his opportunity to be showcased, so he went to Tulane and played for a couple of seasons there and averaged darn near 20 points a game for 2 years. And shame on me, I should have asked him. I know he battled a hamstring injury this year as well, so averaged nearly 20 points playing through a hamstring injury. We had him on the on Rosters to Riches, the NIL podcast that I do with Jonathan Pixley from Matchpoint. We had Jalen on earlier during the season. So we talked a little bit about that injury. So you're talking about a guy that's been super productive, all-conference player in the American, coming back into the SEC, and he'll have a great opportunity to take that step with Matt McMahon. All right, it is after further review. We'll knock out our final break of hour number 2. We'll come back. Muse will have Tigers and the pros. Busy 5 o'clock hour, staring us straight in the face as well. Interesting piece today about college football quarterbacks for 2023, but not just about like ranking, but what it says about that position and why this might be a year unlike any we've seen in college football for literally decades. We'll get to that in about 15 minutes. Wrapping up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
Love telling you about ProCharge EV, ProChargeEV.com. Remember, you've heard me talk about ProCharge. Well, all this month, all throughout the month of April, our friends at ProCharge are giving away 3 free EV chargers. That's with the installation, completely free, no catch at all. All you got to do to enter is go to ProChargeEV.com. Again, ProChargeEV.com. Hit the charger giveaway tab at the top, and you'll see the form to fill out. Super easy. Remember, this is for commercial buildings or businesses. Remember, if you're a business owner, you install an EV charger at your business, you're going to bring in people to your business. On average, an additional 7 customers a week that otherwise would not have come to your business will to charge their vehicle. Also, you're talking about passive income. It's a tap-to-pay option, so anytime someone uses that charger, you make money off of it. ProCharge processes all those payments. You get a check. Enter today for the free EV charger at ProChargeEV.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust Poll of the Day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the Poll of the Day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Wrapping up hour number 2. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Remember, you can always email us, tweet us, at Matt Moscona, jump in the Bayou Forward YouTube chat on the Watch 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, or text the show on the 225 at 396-4400, 396-4400. I got a text into the show from Bradley, who said, Matt, do you know when the last time an NBA superstar missed an entire season because of a hamstring tweak? Went on to really knock Zion and with some colorful language. I completely understand the frustration. We talked about this a bit in the last hour if you weren't here. Yeah, I mean, obviously we've seen guys, star players, miss seasons with various injuries that may not seem severe. I mean, Ben Simmons missed his whole rookie year. I mean, Joel Embiid missed basically his whole first 2 seasons in the league. So, yeah, and Zion hasn't missed the whole season with a hamstring tweak. I mean, that was after the new year when that happened. Because I think he ended up playing in 20-some-odd, fewer than 30 games, certainly. But for me, I really think what I'm curious about and what we don't know and can't know, I mean, only Zion can answer this, and history will ultimately tell us, is if this is something where it's going to be pervasive. Like, look, sometimes you have bad luck. The guy tore his meniscus as a rookie. That's not him being weak or any of that stuff. He tore his meniscus. Like, he had to have knee surgery. I get it. I tore my meniscus. I'm not Zion Williamson. Please don't misunderstand. But, like, not a super easy thing to come back from. Your knee's really swollen. You don't really run and do athletic things for a while. I mean, I get it. Now, he's getting top-tier treatment, and you can come back quicker from it than I did because I'm just a schmo who didn't need to do super athletic things. But I get missing time for that. It's legit. And I understand the frustration, but my question was, like, how much of that is he's really, truly still injured, and how much of that is just the mentality where he's hesitant to go test that hamstring again and to be explosive again? And, man, you're not going to do that until you go do it, right? So, for me, it just looks like the way David Griffin over the weekend phrased it and the way he said it was really, it's on him now. Until he feels comfortable being himself, we're not going to move him to the next phase. Well, that's no longer doctors say he's not ready. He's ready. It's just a matter of when he's comfortable. Well, now you completely put everything on Zion. And, that's the type of conversation that becomes concerning for me, because now you feel like the player and the organization are at odds and have an impasse. How much does that manifest? Well, we'll see. Pels play Wednesday in the play-in at the Blender against OKC. All right, Muso, Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
The Odell Beckham Jr. sweepstakes came to an end this weekend. It wasn't the Jets like many thought. It wasn't the Cowboys that it could have been. Everyone talked about a possible reunion with the New York Giants. No. In fact, Odell heading to Baltimore to be a Raven. 1 year, $15 million. Incentives could carry it to $18 million. So Odell's going to be catching passes in Baltimore from somebody. That part still to be determined.
Can you imagine if it's Huntley?
I don't think that would be what Odell had in mind when he signed the deal. Yeah, that might catch him by surprise a little bit.
If the check don't bounce.
That's fair. That is very fair. The Brooklyn Nets allowed Cam Thomas to play basketball yesterday. Good move. He dropped 46, and they still lost by 30. So it worked out well for both. 46 points for Cam, game's leading scorer, 16 of 29 from the floor, 2 rebounds and assists, and a steal rounded out his day. Tari Eason's rookie season came to an end, a really solid one, although his team stunk. 27 minutes for Tari, 16 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. He also did a man-on-the-street video with the Houston Rockets where he went up and asked people in Houston if they knew who Tari Eason was.
It wasn't in Houston. It was in Times Square.
It was in Times Square?
Yeah. I had it pulled
Not
up.
many people knew. We'll just say that.
Here, can you play it?
Yeah, me either.
Oh.
I ain't gonna say and act like I know who Tari Easton is, and I don't.
Wait, there's a curse. There's a curse. Hang on. I don't know if they believe. Yeah, somebody drops an F-bomb. All right,
Okay. Well, then we survived it.
Here we go.
Ooh, dog water.
Wait,
Damn.
Wait.
Heard of him. What's his name? Tari Eason. Ain't a real player.
Ain't a real player.
That's what I heard. Tari Eason.
Tari Eason, does he play for Houston Rockets? Are you that?
Yes.
I got him. So
Shout out
good.
to that guy.
That's so good. One guy knew. The best is the kids are like, he's not a real player.
Not a real player. He's standing right in front of you, actually, as a matter of fact there.
Man.
9-6, Tari averaged in a rookie year. Hopefully more wins ahead for the Rockets, or hopefully not, because the Pelicans have to play them a lot. Jake Fraley continues a hot start to the Major League Baseball season. 1 for 3 yesterday in the Reds' victory over the Phillies. Drove in 3 runs as well. The one hit was a double. Also drew 2 walks. So Fraley's stuff in the stat sheet is the DH, a 300 average. We'll wrap it up. Alex Bregman, 1 for 4 yesterday, a single and drew a walk. The Astros beat the Twins 5-1. That is Tigers and Pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, LMFJ.com. That's LMFJ.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge has gone to get engaged for more than 30 years. Gentlemen, if you're thinking of popping the question, there's no better place to go than Lee Michaels. They have the highest quality diamonds from the finest Indian mines. They have the best selection and the best price. Oh, did I mention you always get the Lee Michaels experience, no matter your budget? Don't be intimidated. Thinking about popping the question, do what Baton Rouge has done for more than 30 years. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, 2 locations in Baton Rouge, 9 locations in all. So even if you're outside of Baton Rouge, locations all over the state. So check them out at lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. All right, y'all, it's after further review. Putting a button here on hour number 2. When I got a break, come back. Sports Center will get you caught up on national headlines. In about 20 minutes from right now, I'm excited to have a guest in studio who's going to illustrate a collab he did with Dylan Cruz and a lot of other cool stuff going on with LSU Athletics. It's coming up in about 20 minutes from right now. Sports Center coming up. Get you caught up on national headlines. When we come back, college football quarterback ranks. A season like any other. Unlike any
AFR.
A season unlike any other. That's next on AFR. Brought to you by Traction, TractionSports.com. Hey, listen, I always say Traction, of course, where champions are made. And if your son or daughter play sports and you want them to be the best they can possibly be, you go to Traction. Either for strength and speed and agility training or for specific skill training in that sport. Where professional athletes go to train at Traction, your sons and daughters can have those same resources. Remember, Traction also has Traction Sports Therapy. If you need physical therapy, you choose where you go get your PT. Not your doctor. You choose where you go for physical therapy. And Traction, right there on Burbank in Baton Rouge, has Traction Physical Therapy as well. If you want to get back in the game, you go to Traction. If you want to play an ancient athlete, or swing the golf club, or play pickleball or tennis or run or swim, Traction Physical Therapy can help. TractionSports.com. Go to TractionSports.com.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back.
Join us on Saturday, April 22nd.
At the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and Joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown presented by Ochsner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com.
All right. There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales service and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Is Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. Rudy Gobert of the Timberwolves gets a 1-game suspension from the team. He's out for tomorrow night's play-in game against the Lakers after punching teammate Kyle Anderson in the chest on Sunday. ESPN's Kendrick Perkins.
You had to suspend him because you got to set some type of boundaries for your young stars to let them know that this is not acceptable. And so you can't put your hands on somebody and not think that there's not going to be consequences.
Kendrick Perkins on This Just In. Minnesota also loses Jaden McDaniels with a broken right hand. He punched a wall during Sunday's game. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports at least 6 teams have talked with the Arizona Cardinals about trading for the 3rd pick in the NFL draft. The Cardinals are still considering their options. The draft starts on April 27th. The Red Sox put outfielder Adam Duvall on the injured list with a broken left wrist. He'll be out for an extended period, no timetable given. Duvall got hurt trying to make a diving catch Sunday against the Tigers. Royals manager Matt Quatraro will be back in the dugout tonight. He missed the last 5 games with COVID-19.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, they're making things even easier. They'll help you bundle your home and car insurance together so you can save on both. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
That is Paul O'Neal sitting right there.
Chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
He's literally been here the whole time. Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Hope you had a great Easter. Muse and Paulie are still in food comas. They have not said much today. Muse, how are you?
I'm good. I'm tired, but I'm good. A lot of food.
Paul, how are you?
I'm fantastic.
Good. Glad to hear it. Guys right there. To start last hour, I forgot Paul. I was doing the intros, and I was multitasking and forgot Paul. But I got it this time. All right, in about 15 minutes, Michael Anderson's going to be in studio. You may not know the name. That's fine. You may not know his work. That's cool. And I'm going to tell you this, and you may roll your eyes and say, scone you and your stupid sneakers. He does custom sneaker designs. But the reason this is relevant is he did a collab with Dylan Cruz, which you most likely already saw. And he's got more coming with LSU Athletics. And it's going to be exciting. So we'll talk about that coming up in about 12 minutes. He'll be in studio. Scrolling ESPN.com, and because, of course, it's spring, and they're in the middle of spring football, and if you're a college football writer at ESPN.com, you have to have content all year long. So what do? You make lists, of course. And right now they've ranked the 10 best college football quarterbacks heading into the 2023 season. I want to be very clear. I don't give a good gosh darn about this ranking. Not one bit. Not a single. They had 12 college football writers. They voted on a ballot, 10 point each. So first place gets 10 points, second place 9 points, and so on. You get it. So anyway, all the way down to the 10th place quarterback who gets 1 point. You understand how the math works. Hashtag math. And I'll run through the list. I just genuinely don't care about their list. There's a bigger takeaway from this. And Jayden Daniels is on the list, by the way. Caleb Williams, reigning Heisman Trophy winner. They got him number 1 on the list. Number 2, Michael Penix Jr. from Washington. Drake May from North Carolina, followed by Bo Nix back for his 5th collegiate season at Oregon. Jordan Travis, they rank him 5th on the list. Of course, LSU will see Jordan Travis in the season opener. 6th on the list. How about Cam Rising? Back for another season at Utah. Sam Hartman leaves Wake Forest, goes to Notre Dame. They got him 7th on the list, followed by J.J. McCarthy, who led Michigan to the college football playoff this past season. 9 is where we find Jayden Daniels from LSU. And 10th on the list is Jalen Daniels from Kansas. Jayden and Jalen, 9 and 10 on the list. So there's your list. But again, to reiterate, I don't care about that list. It's completely subjective, and you may like one player better than another. You may think it's whack. There's someone not on the list who should be. Okay, I really don't care. What I do find so interesting about this list is we are going to embark in a year in college football unlike any we've seen in probably the last 2 decades since early entrance into the NFL draft became in vogue, where guys are basically 3 and league. Because of the COVID year, and so many guys taking advantage of the COVID year, we are about to have a year unlike we've seen in 2 decades and maybe would never see again unless there's some massive sea change in college football. Look at this list. Caleb Williams is a junior. Michael Penix, number 2 on the list, 5th-year senior. Drake May is a redshirt sophomore, 3rd-year player. Bo Nix, 5th-year senior. Jordan Travis, 5th-year senior. Cam Rising, 5th-year senior. Sam Hartman, 5th-year senior. Jayden Daniels, 5th-year senior. 6 of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country on this list, 6 of the top 10 are 5th-year seniors. Year 5. That doesn't happen anymore. The best players are in the league after 3 years. Maybe you get a Joe Burrow, a guy that transfers and so ends up in school an extra year. Maybe. More often than not, what you get is Bryce Young, 3 years league. C.J. Stroud, 3 years league. Justin Fields, 3 years league. I mean, that's normally what you get. Fields did transfer from Georgia to Ohio State, though. Normally, that's what Anthony Richardson, red shirt, another year, league. That's just what we see now. The best quarterbacks leave. But COVID disrupted things so drastically that guys missed an opportunity to play, gained an extra year of eligibility because it, And except for the super rarefied elite cases, you're seeing all these guys stay. And I think this is truly a one-off. A year ago, if I had looked at this list, and I went back and looked at some of the preseason top quarterback lists from a year ago, Bryce Young, junior. C.J. Stroud, junior. Caleb Williams, sophomore. Anthony Richardson, third-year sophomore. Quinn Ewers, sophomore. Drake May, redshirt freshman. I mean, the best quarterbacks were all young guys. I mean, I could look, yes. You had Hendon Hooker coming back. You had Stetson Bennett coming back. You had Grayson McCall. But nobody was looking at Hendon Hooker a year ago thinking he's going to be an All-American and a first-round pick. Stetson Bennett is his own little unique situation, former walk-on, we all know. Grayson McCall's at Coastal Carolina. You understand my point? Like, yeah, you always have veteran quarterbacks at smaller schools and one-off places, but not the best quarterbacks in the country. Not a list of the top 10 quarterbacks in college football this year. And 6 of them are not just upperclassmen, but fifth-year seniors. That's like having 6 Joe Burrows. I'm not saying they're going to have the production of Burrow, but like Burrow was an outlier in the fact that he played 5 years and he needed 2 schools. These guys are in their same spots, except for a guy like Jayden Daniels who transferred, or Sam Hartman who's playing his final season somewhere else. And most of this is obviously a product of the COVID situation. Now, I could, from an LSU perspective, of course, I could talk about Jayden Daniels being 9th on this list. And I think he has tremendous potential this year, maybe even more so than anybody else on the list because of the surrounding cast of characters. We already know what Caleb Williams is. Drake May is magnificent. He's not going to have the talent surrounding him like Jayden Daniels will. Kind of feels like we saw with Sam Howell when he came back and had all the expectation, and it didn't really go so great. Michael Penix, because he plays in the Pac-12, led the nation in passing last year. Maybe Penix has another boom year. Bo Nix, we've seen good Bo, bad Bo. There's enough of a sample size there. Cam Rising, I think, has a lower ceiling as far as a pro prospect, but is obviously a very good college quarterback. Sam Hartman, similar to Cam Rising in that respect. What does he do at Notre Dame this year? We'll see. But you understand my point? Like, of everybody on this list, Caleb Williams and Drake May are going to be guys at the top of next year's draft. The one I could look at and say, because of his cast of characters, or supporting cast, where he plays, opportunity, Daniels is the one, Jayden Daniels, not Jalen, who's one spot behind, has the biggest boom potential on this list as far as projectability to the next level. So, yes, there's that component of it. But the bigger takeaway isn't how the 12 college football writers at ESPN subjectively rank the quarterbacks heading into next season. It's the fact that of the 10 quarterbacks on this list, 6 of them are fifth-year players, something like we may never see this again, barring some unforeseen change in college football, like in college basketball where the one-and-done rule went, or where players were not allowed to go high school to the pros. So you saw this giant propensity of one-and-dones now interjected into college basketball because guys can't go straight from high school to the pros anymore. It may take something like that to ever see a year again like this. Heck, it took a global pandemic to end up with this scenario. So we're going to watch a year of college football with the amount of elite-level quarterbacks in year 5 that we just may never see again. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. Had a really good Easter. We're glad we had off for Good Friday. Hope you enjoyed that time away as well. LSU Baseball split their weekend in Columbia, South Carolina. At the bottom of this hour, we'll circle back. Jay Johnson met with the media today, was asked about some of the injuries with Garrett Edwards and with Chase Shores, and then heading into this week with Kentucky coming in. So we'll get to some of that at the bottom of this hour. Let me knock out a quick break. Stick around here. It's AFR. AFR is brought to you by Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Tell you every day, get Gordon and get it done. And I have had the great pleasure to be able to tell you about so much of what Gordon Gives has done. Not only through, of course, NIL and the G team, and not only around the holidays with giving away bikes for kids. How about this? Gordon's doing it again. Every year, Gordon does an annual program called Gordon's Grads. So they're launching it. They've already launched it for this year. If you go to gordonsgrads.com, all the details are there. They give out a dozen laptops to graduating seniors to equip them for college or trade school. You can enter at gordonsgrads.com, submit an essay or a video, speaking to why you deserve the help. Again, if you're graduating or know someone who's graduating high school and they're heading off to trade school or college, Gordon's giving away a dozen laptops. Go to gordonsgrads.com. Again, gordonsgrads.com to learn more. You know what to do. Get Gordon and get it done.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or SUV today, or customize your next vehicle just the way you want it. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Before the holidays, before the sneaker bug bit me, I was over at WBRZ getting ready to do the Clay Young show, and this guy introduces himself to me. And Michael Anderson, Catholic High guy, naturally we have that connection. And he talks to me about how he's doing all these custom sneakers, which you've seen. The boot-up sneakers for Will Wade, a lot of that cool stuff. And says he'd love to make like an AFR custom or so. At the time, I didn't care. I didn't know sneakers. I mean, it sounded great. And then my wife gave me a pair of Air Force Ones for Christmas. I've gone completely off the deep end. I own 32 pair of sneakers already. E-Rock got me another pair of Air Force Ones for Easter as well, and I'm so far off the deep end. But Michael Anderson's in studio with us right now. Good to see you. How are you, dude?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And I know there's some people right now that are probably rolling their eyes going, Scone, you and your sneakers, who cares? This is a little deeper than that, because the reason you're here is because some of the really cool collabs you're doing with LSU athletes. I want to lay some groundwork before we get to that, though. Go back. How in the world do you get into painting shoes?
Yeah, it's a great question, Matt. And I used to not know the answer to that as well.
Okay.
And then I was doing some thinking about it. I went to every LSU football game since I was 9 months old, right? So we've been diehard Tiger fans my whole life. And I was doing art, and I wanted to be as close to the team as possible. And then in 2018, whenever Wade Sims was killed, I had reached out to Skylar. And so we did a shoe that Skylar got to wear in one of the games to honor Wade Sims. So that was the initial.
How did you even know how to paint shoes? Because like I've seen some of your videos, like how you have to have the, I don't know, what do you, like you have paper over them and these spray guns. Like how did you even know what to do?
Lots of trial and error, man. Lots of trial and error.
Okay. What did you paint prior?
So I've painted on canvas. I paint on canvas and wood, and took art class in high school. My grandmother was an artist, so just painting on summers when I go up to Lafayette.
So you reach out to Skylar. You do the Wade Sims cleats, which I remember, or the Wade Sims sneakers, which I remember, by the way. I'm glad you brought that up. From that point, how did it gain momentum to where, I'll let you speak on this a little bit, but you've done customs for like everybody at this point.
Yeah.
So what was your tipping point? How did it get rolling?
Well, Skylar's such a great guy, man, and he put me on to a lot of other LSU players. Jaden Hill saw those, so I got to do a project with Jaden Hill. And they really just word of mouth and social media.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned before, you got bit by the sneaker bug. And really that's just, once you get bit, man, and and then it's over with. So just word of mouth and sneaker culture is really big time right now. So
you did Will Wade's boot up shoes, right? Like we all remember the sneakers that Will wore, the purple and gold with the boot up on it. Is that how you got connected through Skylar?
Yeah, through Skylar and then his buddy Reed, and actually Will Wade's college buddies had reached out to me and they said that they wanted me to do it for him. So really it was some guys that Coach Wade goes way back with.
Bro, like I look at your Instagram. I mean, you did Fred's customs I remember with Portnoy when they were in town. There's Tari Eason, and then Dylan Cruz as well, which is in part why you're here. Tell us a little bit about the Dylan Cruz collab that you did.
Yeah, Dylan's my guy. I reached out to Dylan last year at some point, just on Instagram. He got back with me real quick, and they say when he hits homers, they call him cruise missiles, right? So the idea for those is pretty obvious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were military themed. It was the old Warthog plane from World War II that has like the shark teeth on them.
Mm-hmm.
The same plane that the Flying Tigers would fly. And actually that day at that game, they had some paratroopers jump down from the airplane, and the plane actually had the shark teeth on it. That was just a coincidence. We didn't even know that at the time. So yeah, Dylan's my guy.
So Paul, can you put that picture back screen if you would please? This picture here, this collab with Dylan. What game was this that he wore these?
So that was the SEC home opener last year against A&M.
So that was a year ago.
Yeah.
And you've obviously worked together even more because earlier this year, you all did another collab. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I just moved to Austin, Texas about 3 or 4 months ago. And LSU Baseball came up to Austin, or to Round Rock, right outside Austin, for the Round Rock Classic. So they had 3 games at the Round Rock Classic, and they played against UT in Austin as well. So because they were coming to my city, I reached out to Dylan. I was like, we got to do something. And this is really cool. We actually did this pair was with my branding.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to do something a little bit different with the cleats this time. I'm
sorry, Paul, can you put that video that he sent? That's for this, if you wouldn't mind putting that back.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
So these are with my branding, and we wanted to do something a little bit different this time than what we had done with just the cleats. So I actually made a big art piece with the cleats. So I brought it to him before the game. He wore them during the game. Of course, won MVP of the tournament with like 8 for 12 or whatever. Classic Dylan, right?
Naturally. Okay.
And then after that, Dylan and Tommy came over to my apartment in Austin, and then he signed a ball, and then we put the cleats on this art piece. So it was awesome.
So is that just remaining at your apartment?
Yeah, that's mine. I can't give that to anybody else.
So the cleats essentially were on loan.
Right, yeah.
For the game. It worked out okay though.
Yeah.
Michael Anderson's in studio with us. But so I want to ask you about Boot Up Customs. The landing page right now is just a landing page coming soon. But what aside from Boot Up Customs Instagram is the best way for people to see your work?
Yes, sir. Instagram is get.like.mike.
Get.like.mike is where you can see. And there is a hyperlink in there. Well, you can see the @ for Boot Up Customs, but there's also a link to a 225 article that was written. You can see a lot of Michael's work. I forgot you did the My Cleats, My Cause as well.
Yeah, with Cade York.
With Cade York, that's right. There's so many cool customs on there. But earlier today, and so there's a video that Will Stout produced for you with the Dylan Cruz collab. How did that process come together with Will?
Yeah, I mean, Will's a good buddy of mine. We're both Baton Rouge guys, and everybody knows Will Stout in Baton Rouge, right? With all the hype videos, 2019, right? He's beloved here, so. I just knew that was the project that I wanted to link with him on. So he got to come out to Austin and stay with me. And then over a period of 4 or 5 days, we shot everything and then got to put it together. Yeah, so Will's my guy, so that meant a lot to me that he was able to do that.
So the Dylan Cruz collab video with Will Stout is dropping tomorrow. Where can people see it?
Yep, on my Instagram.
Okay, so it'll be on your Instagram. So it's at get.like.mike on Instagram. Go follow Michael Anderson there. And then before you came over here, you were on LSU's campus meeting about another collab. So what can you kind of tell or what can you kind of tease?
Yeah, so it's a little bit of just a tease,
Okay.
But I had some meetings with the LSU athletic department today, trying to get things more official, more on the books. I'm doing a lot of work with the players and then trying to just get through the proper channels at LSU and navigate that space.
When's the next time we might see some of your work on an LSU court or field?
Yeah, so this Thursday, LSU Baseball, Friday night starting, or the first game starting pitcher, Paul Skeens. Really, really cool project that we did. So as many of you guys know, Paul transferred in from Air Force. So we did a pair of custom cleats that, pay tribute to his time at Air Force. And then also a special tribute to 2 Air Force former baseball players who were killed in service.
Oh, that's very cool. So Paul will have your customs on when he pitches on Thursday.
Yep.
So if things don't go well on Thursday, do we blame the shoes?
I don't know, man. I think Paul's so good it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying?
I think Paul could pitch in slides and it would be just fine.
He's throwing 100, so it's all good.
It's unbelievable. Does it ever, do you ever kind of pinch yourself a little bit when you think about the fact that you're essentially making a life painting shoes?
Yeah, one of my good buddies, my buddy Chris, the other day, he said, "You're basically doing what you would have wanted to do at recess when you were a kid," right? I mean, it is pretty ridiculous, but like I said before, I just growing up going to all the games. My family's had tickets to LSU football for 60 years. I'm a 3rd generation Tiger. Both my parents went to LSU, both my brothers. So at the end of the day, it kind of makes sense. I was looking through some pictures that I had before my meeting today with LSU of, from back in the day. And there's pictures of me and Jamarcus and Justin Vincent and all these guys. So I was always trying to get close to the team.
There's a picture that Paul's showing right there with you and Jamar. Was that My Cleats, My Cause as well?
No, so that was 2019 national championship year.
Oh, God.
So that day, the day that they filmed that was the day that Get the Gat video was filmed. So if you see the thumbnail on Twitter, I'm in it with Jamar Chase.
Oh,
so that's pretty cool.
Very nice. Last thing, what is, I could say, well, 2 things. The website. Do you know when you plan to have Boot Up Customs live and rolling, or anything like that? You have a time frame?
Yeah, so within about 3 weeks, I'm going to have the website live. So a lot of people have asked how they can support me and what I'm doing. A big one is just social media, right? Just following and sharing some of the work that I'm doing. But then I'm also going to have my first merch, clothing drop. That's going to be live to the public, as well as a pair of Jordans that I'm having custom made that will be available for sale to everyone.
Nice. Very cool. Last thing, what would be your, I'll use this phrase kind of loosely, your end game? If I said, man, best case scenario where this path, this career takes you, where do you see that path leading?
Yeah, so the bucket list project, obviously with Joe Burrow, right? And I used to say, I get to do Joe Burrow's cleats, I'm just going to retire. But then now, as I've gone, what I realize is I'm going to do Joe Burrow's cleats one day.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to retire, man. I'm just going to take it to the next level. And I think the end game with that is at some point I want to open up my own agency. So it's not going to be contractual, but with partnerships, lifestyle, branding, art, sneakers, more culture stuff with some of the athletes.
So one, I said it was the last thing, but I have one more now because I just find it interesting. I look at that and I go, okay, I don't know if I could scale to the point where, like, if you had 1,000 orders, like, I can't recreate you, right? So when demand starts to pick up, how do you keep up? Or do you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I definitely have to pick and choose, right? So I don't take a lot of just like commissions. I'm getting the projects that are gonna push my brand, so that at some point, whenever I can sell stuff that's more mass produced, that everybody can get it. But I mean, even right now, I get a lot of requests that unfortunately I have to turn down just because we're all booked up.
Yeah. All right, AFR customers. Yeah. How do I submit my AFR custom request?
Oh no, we're gonna get it done, man. We're gonna get it done.
All right, you heard it.
Yeah, you heard it.
Man of his word, he better be. All right, I want AFR customs. I want Calic High customs. I want Hudco roofing customs. I want 104.5 ESPN custom. What else? We're putting in orders. Paul, you got anything you want? Muse, you want some weed customs? Get some.
Oh, chill out.
Fair enough. All right, follow him on Instagram at get.like.mike on Instagram. Be on the lookout for the video drop tomorrow. I got a chance to sneak peek. It's Will Stout.
Will Stout. He's the man.
It's Will. With plenty of Dylan Cruz in there. It's pretty awesome. And then you'll see Paul Skeens on Thursday at the box, rocking the cleats, done by our guy Michael Anderson here. Man, thanks for coming in. Good to visit, man.
Yes, sir.
Onward and upward. Keep doing what you're doing. It's been fun to watch and see all this grow. So we'll look forward to that drop coming when it comes.
Thank you, Matt. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. Be well. It's after further review. Let's knock out a quick break. When we come back, speaking of LSU baseball, Jay Johnson did meet with the media earlier today, updating some of the injuries. Chase Shores, Garrett Edwards. Well, let's hear some of what the head coach had to say next here on AFR.
AFR.
And I tell you all the time, Baton Rouge has so many great restaurants and so many different places. And so often we get into our little pigeonhole, right, where we end up going to the same place over and over again. I want you to put Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel on your list. Next time you have a business lunch and you're sitting there talking to all your friends or your colleagues, hey, where are we going to go for lunch? And it's always a question. You pick. Recommend Tallulah. It's inside the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet. So it's super convenient. I mean, you're seconds from I-10. So you can get there easily from anywhere. Right there inside the lobby of the Renaissance, Tallulah is gorgeous. It's upscale, casual dining. Chef-inspired. Chef Jason Aber did an awesome job with the menu. And you can eat so affordably. Go get the burger. It's a gourmet hamburger for lunch for $10. You can eat affordably. You can eat great. Conveniently right there at Tallulah. It's inside the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet. Check out Tallulah inside the Renaissance Hotel.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown is back.
Join us on Saturday, April 22nd
at the Ochsner Medical Complex at The Grove. We've got cooking teams of pros and joes serving up their best jambalaya and Cajun Creole dishes, all while helping raise dough for local families battling cancer. Bring the whole family for great food, live tunes, and good times. Clash of the Cooks Jambalaya Showdown presented by Ochsner.
Saturday, April 22nd at lunchtime. Help us paddle it forward. For tickets and more information, go to clashofthecooks.com.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
One of the big questions for LSU baseball coming out of the weekend, of course, is the health of the pitching staff. There was no Chase Shores this past weekend, as was predetermined. Jay made that announcement before they went to Columbia. But then during the weekend, of course, you lost Garrett Edwards to injury. And now you look at a pitching staff that at one point we thought, man, it's the best rotation in the country. Paul Skeens, Ty Floyd. I mean, Thatcher Hurd's your number 3. The big 6'8 giant throwing 100, the freshman, he's your midweek guy. What do you do with Christian Little? You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of been the thought all year or before the season started. Now all of a sudden, there's some holes in that conversation. Thatcher Hurd's out of the rotation. Back-to-back weeks where you've seen Ty Floyd struggle. Chase Shores didn't pitch this weekend. Garrett Edwards leaves with injury. Christian Little, you thought it maybe established himself as your closer. He kind of faltered in that role. Now you're trying to find a role for him. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. Now, the good news for LSU is you got a lot of arms still. You got a lot of talent. And you have one of the best pitching coaches in the country. How does it all come together, though? First of all, Jay Johnson was asked about Garrett Edwards. Everyone is asked about Garrett Edwards, and Jay Johnson gave the answer he gives to everybody when he's asked about injuries.
You know, Garrett's getting further evaluated today. So we'll see.
I'm only laughing because Jay he's just not going to give you anything. He didn't give anything on Chase Shores. He's not going to give you anything on Garrett Edwards. Look, I'm not going to say the 2 words that everybody fears when they hear about arm injuries with big, hard-throwing guys because I don't know. I'm telling you, honestly, I don't. I've heard speculation, but I'm not going with that because I don't know. And I would love it to be just, hey, little rest, little rehab, get back out there and be good to go. But until you hear that and the coach tells you further evaluation, don't know what else we could say at this point. Jay was asked, though, about how this team withstands all of these injuries on the staff.
Next man up, I want to shock the world and be the only team in the history of college baseball that can withstand injuries and still have the type of season that they want to have. And I have a lot of confidence in the guys that are available. And, hopefully we'll get a couple of the other guys back in due time, but in this league it's hard. You see it with, a couple teams have a couple guys go down and it changes the complexion of what it looks like. I think we're one team where we can withstand it. And it was built that way and designed that way. And whether it's Gavin Guidry, Griffin Herring, Bryce Collins, Riley Cooper, Christian Little, Thatcher Hurd, let's go. Let's strap it on and find a way to do it.
You got a lot of guys who have thrown a lot of innings and been in big spots that have faltered this year. I mean, he mentioned a lot of them there. Thatcher Hurd, Riley Cooper, Christian Little, guys that have been in spots. You can even extend beyond that with some of the arms you have on the staff. And I'm not sitting here telling you Blake Money is going to come out of nowhere and be your Saturday guy. Okay, I'm not telling you that. Like, there's a large enough sample over 3 years to kind of know what Blake Money is. But he's also thrown a lot of innings, and he's got some ability. And at some point, you have to step up and be able to get people out when they hand you the ball. In whatever role that is. Maybe it's, hey, we're down 5. I need you to go eat up 12 outs for me. Just give me 12 outs so I can get to the next game. Or we're up 5. I need you to go eat up some outs so I can save the rest of my pen for tomorrow's, right? Whatever that role is. One bit of positive news is about a guy we haven't seen pitch in more than a year, and that's Javin Coleman.
I do think Javin Coleman will pitch this year. I don't know when. We have 2 benchmarks we have to get past, but it's getting closer. And credit to him. I mean, he's recovered from the Tommy John better than any pitcher that I've ever seen. And there's some ups and downs and ebbs and flows with that, but he's been real disciplined about what he's doing. I don't know when it's going to be and where we're at his effectiveness. I did see him. He went on the trip with us this weekend. Watching him play catch on Saturday, the day we got rained out, it looked normal. Like, I literally was like, you wouldn't know that he was coming off an injury, which is a credit to the work that he's put in.
That's awesome. It's a guy who obviously, he was injured a year ago, missed the season, back now. He was injured early in the year, back now, and you hope you get him at. Look, Jay said he'll pitch this year, and what he just said there about throwing in South Carolina maps. Terrio was with us here on Thursday and said he's got a lot of access to the program. Said Javin's throwing, so throwing and being ready to go pitch in max effort, high leverage situations. Those two things aren't the same, but you're getting closer. And if Javin Coleman looks like the guy he was in his first year plus at LSU. You're talking about a guy that could be a year ago, he would have been, without a doubt, your best left-handed arm. Like, that's not debatable. Before the injury. Injured, what does he look like when he comes back? Remains to be seen. But another contributor from the left side who has the potential to be maybe your best left-handed arm, respect to Griffin Herring, who looks awesome right now. Of course, that would be massive. He also mentioned 2 freshmen with Gavin Guidry and Griffin Herring. And Gavin Guidry sat in this chair right here next to me a couple of weeks ago. And he relayed this story about when he showed up on campus, the conversations he had with Jay Johnson. And how initially, it's exactly what Jay told him, was they were going to let him try to win a job in the infield, and if it didn't happen, they'd circle back and look at pitching. Well, we know what happened. Jordan Thompson's your shortstop, and Gavin Dugas just lapped the field. I mean, he just locked up second base and hasn't let it go. So they did exactly what they said they would do. They moved Gavin Guidry back to the pitching staff, and now you've seen him. I think he went into the weekend, what did we say, with like 4 2/3? He threw just about 5 innings. And he was nails. And it's not just the stuff, which looked really good. It's also the attitude. The fact that dude is a freshman, is on the road in a key spot against a top 10 team, crowd bearing down on you. You're protecting a 1-run lead, trying to close it out after you got shellacked the night before. And he's out there, striking dudes out. And, well, if it was whiskey and wine, I'd say some of the other things I wanted to say, but I'm not going to say that. But you understand what I mean. Like, with edge, with attitude, as our buddy Alden Cartwright would say. Wheelbarrow. Got it? Haven't heard it in a while. Gotta get Cartwright back on the show. I'm going to do that soon. Cartwright? I'll do that. Yeah. Like, that's the guy I want to give the ball in a leverage spot because he's unafraid to go make the pitch. So, and you would just expect him to get more and more consistent the more and more he pitches because he hadn't done it in a while. So, there's things to like. And if you weren't here when we opened the show, we talked about, sometimes it's hard to see the forest through the trees. And you can look at a situation at LSU where, Skeens is scratched after 3 innings because the lightning delay and the bullpen gets run, and you got Floyd, who's struggled, and Hurd's out of the rotation, and now injuries to your most consistent guys in Shores and Edwards, and you already lost Grant Taylor for the year, and what looked like a deep, talented, dominant staff all of a sudden looks like a shell of that. It looks like Paul Skeens and question mark. Well, yes, that's true, but everybody has their warts and their blemishes, and LSU still has a deep roster of talented arms. And as much and as heralded as it was when they brought Wes Johnson here to be the pitching coach that they took away from the Minnesota Vikings, like, this is a time where he gets to prove he was worthy of that praise and that trust because he's got a lot of talented dudes. Now, how do you figure this thing out and make it mold? Griffin Herring's development, huge. Gavin Guidry, huge. There are things that we, coming into the season, weren't necessarily counting on. Nate Ackenhausen's got a hamstring injury. Gets that healthy, he's going to contribute for you as well. How do you piece those things together here? And maybe most importantly, how do you get Ty Floyd and maybe even more importantly, Thatcher Hurd to be the key contributors they were expected to be when the season starts? You do that, this team's on track to do everything they wanted. And the other thing to keep in mind is your first 4 weeks in the SEC have all been against teams ranked in the top 15. The schedule's going to lighten up. How does that look when you get through it all? Start to get those answers. All right, we're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet, Baton Rouge, Ambassador, Caffrey, and Lafayette. Online, theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. All this month at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana, they are introducing the newest, latest, greatest in body contouring, non-surgical body contouring. We've told you for years about VeloShape, UltraShape, awesome treatments that are still available. The newest treatment that's out is called the Evolve X Body Contour. And it's even like smart treatment where they could set it. You don't even have to have like the doctor or nurse in the room with you. Learn more about it. All this month, introductory pricing. It's not going to last forever. Like, they're just doing it in April as introductory pricing. It is so worth it if you've thought about, hey, beach season, pool season's right around the corner. That is hard to reach areas, thighs, maybe like your lower abdomen, love handles that are really hard to address with diet and exercise. This could be the thing that makes it just absolutely make you beach body ready. Check it out at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador, Caffrey, and Lafayette. Online, theantiagingclinics.com, theantiagingclinics.com. All right, it is after further review. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here on a Monday edition of AFR. Hope you all had an awesome Easter. Otter is taking the day off. We all worked on Friday, but we took the day off Friday. Ott did his show. We're all back today. Ott took today off. So no Otter Locks next, unless if I can text Jimmy and see if he's got anything for us. But we'll wrap up a Monday edition of AFR next.
AFR.
And I always love taking 60 seconds and remind you about New Orleans Flooring. It's just been awesome, awesome partners of ours here on AFR. You go to nolaflooring.com, or go by either of their stores. Of course, they got the name, New Orleans Flooring. They're there in Metairie. Or the Prairieville location. Airline in Prairieville. If you're going south on Airline, you pass the Walmart, look to the right, can't miss it. Blue building, blue awning, blue sign. It's New Orleans Flooring. The best part about New Orleans Flooring, they keep their inventory in stock, which means they can essentially offer you wholesale prices on flooring. Do you realize that when you go to other flooring stores, a lot of times when you buy that flooring, it's had 2 or 3 or 4 touch points, meaning it's been sold from a manufacturer to a wholesaler, distributor, now retail. Every time that happens, the cost gets passed on to you, the consumer. At New Orleans Flooring, you're buying directly from them. So you save, and save big. It's New Orleans Flooring. Go to nolaflooring.com. Again, online, nolaflooring.com.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. we move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 360.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch, we come final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. If you haven't done so yet, man, go check out the Relief Windows showroom. Gorgeous spot there on Airline Highway in Prairieville. Proud of my guy Brandon, Holly, and Adrian. They did awesome work designing that thing out. Check it out, Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Okay, so Otter, as we mentioned, is taking the day off. My phone is acting up, man. What's going on with this?
How? What do you mean?
It's a brand new phone, man. Like every time, it's one of those ones where it doesn't have the center button. You have to swipe to open it.
Yeah, sure.
Just like it just goes dark or off. Like
that's weird.
Weird, man. Anyway, well, Otter was so Otter's off. I texted him to see if he has any locks for tonight. He has not texted me back as of yet, so we'll wait and see on that. Coming up in 9 minutes, the WNBA draft is underway. Will get underway. Aaliyah Boston is set to be everyone from South Carolina. Everyone expects Aaliyah Boston will be the number one pick in the draft. I'm looking at this last mock draft. Listen, y'all, I am not going to sit here and purport to be a WNBA aficionado, expert, anything. Like, I couldn't even tell you the name and mascot for every team, okay? But there's a lot of people obviously going to be interested. So I'm looking at this latest mock draft to see where they have Alexis Morris projected. And they have, this is the latest ESPN.com mock draft. They have Alexis Morris going 15 to the Atlanta. Do you know the Atlanta mascot?
Oh, is that the Dream?
Oh, yes. Give yourself a ding.
Hey.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh, no. Are you just going to quiz me on
yes. Indiana.
The Fever?
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Seattle. I actually know this one.
Is that the Storm?
Yes, it is. Okay. The Dallas.
The Dallas.
Don't you cheat.
I'm not cheating.
Scouts Honor. Honor code.
Scouts Honor.
Okay.
I wanted to say Sparks, but that's LA.
It is LA.
The Stars is the hockey team. The Dallas.
Show ends at 6 Muse.
I don't.
Paulie, you got it? Paulie got it?
That'll be the Wings.
Oh! Wait, are you all like, what did you
Wrong camera.
Paulie just put on camera the empty chair with the microphone. Are you all like secretly getting together at each other's houses watching WNBA games?
I don't think I've ever watched a WNBA game actually in full.
The Connecticut?
I don't know.
Paulie?
I believe it's the Sun.
It is the Sun! Now, I know Chicago because during COVID, we had one of the players from the Chicago Sky.
Yeah.
Remember she won the horse competition?
She did. She beat Chris Paul, didn't she?
I think so.
Who was that?
I don't remember her name, but
she was awesome.
As a result of that, I got on the Chicago Sky's media mailing list, and I get emails from the Chicago Sky media information people like all day, every day.
Hey.
So like, no.
Yeah.
It's mostly cluttering my inbox. What am
You got
I
any
gonna
gear?
do? What am I? No, it's what they send on their media alerts. Like, what am I gonna do in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, or syndicated in Louisiana with Chicago Sky information? You know what I mean?
Much.
Right, that's my point. It's like, thank you for sending delete. We all know the Minnesota Lynx.
The Lynx,
where Simone was there.
And Big Sil.
And Sil, yes. New York. Oh, you have to know this one. Rebecca Lobo played there.
Yeah.
Like the first year of the WNBA. The Liberty.
Oh, yeah.
Washington Mystics. I think the only other one we did was the Las Vegas Aces.
I would have known that one.
Yeah, we would have known that one because that's where Nikki Fargas went for a millisecond.
Doesn't Becky Hammond coach? I think Becky Hammond's the head coach.
Let's go with yes. Let's go with yes. Anyway, so WNBA draft coming up here shortly. All right, it's after further review. We're brought to you by the Otter texted. Okay, we got some picks. Real quick, Shaw Bills. ShawBillsTire.com. ShawBillsTire.com. If you need tires, why would you go anywhere else? Matter of fact, I think the Scones have a Shaw Bills date in our near future. Erica texted me today. She's saying low pressure again on my tires. I keep putting air in them, and they keep getting, we're heading to Shaw Bills. Get those things fixed or replaced. ShawBillsTire.com. To find the location nearest you, ShawBillsTire.com for more than 50 years. Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. Okay, Otter has the D-backs and the Angels. Arizona and L.A. Those are the Otters' locks for tonight. Get rich, people. Muse, Paulie, thanks so much. Y'all have a great night. See you tomorrow at 3.
AFR.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off new 2022 Jeep Gladiators and $8,000 off new 23 Jeep Grand Cherokees. All new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go? Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better